Hey everybody, welcome to another round of Canje talks about stuff that y'all might remotely be interested in. Hey, hello, good day to everybody. That's good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you are in the world. Hey Jan, what's going on? Hey Canje and everybody. I love that intro music. Feels like a report. This just in. Canje reporting. Hey Cynthia, what's going on? Hey Elaine, hello. So, usually this would be the time for the co-op chat with Steve, Barrett, and myself. Steve is off, and I believe Barrett had some other things that come up. So I'm doing my UK Games Expo, and just in general, my trip to across the pond to the UK. So yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the games that I saw there, my impressions. This is going to be from my point of view. I'm not trying to sway anybody in any way to say back this game, don't back this game. It's just what I enjoy, doing. Undiluted Canje. That's what it is. Hey, Matthew. Hey, Archibald. Hey, Stacy. What's going on? So, yeah, I am your Saturday morning cartoons for the day. So it's gonna be a good time. Hey, Robert. What's going on? Oh, this is where Canje rubs it in that he went and we didn't. No, I just want to share my experience with everybody just to see what it's like. This just in, Canje went to a show and purchased no games. I purchased one game, Brian. I purchased one game. But when I got back, I purchased 3 more. So we'll talk about that and what that looks like. But before we get into it, I just want to say thank you to my patrons and YouTube subscribers. If you're neither, just coming in to hang out, thank you and welcome as well. You do not have to be a member of the channel or anything to just hang out with us and have a good time and just chat about anything. So this will be me telling stories and me answering any questions that you might have about different things that happen over there, whether it's UK Game Expo or not, and we'll see how that stuff, and then you just chatting amongst yourselves in the chat. So we always have a mellow good time here. I do let you know that I did turn on the subscriber only mode only because I constantly get spammed by, it happened previously, and I always have to say this because it hasn't happened in a while because I turned on subscriber only mode, is I was getting spammed by the sleazy porn bots, and therefore it was just too much in the channel, and then I had to go delete all this different stuff. So I said, you know what, I'll just turn it on. If you want to pop into the chat, just hit sub, chat, have a good time, and then when you're done, unsub. No harm, no foul. It'll be all good. So I just don't, I want us to have this mellow time to just hang out. Maelstrom asks, going to Origins in a couple weeks. I can't wait. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy it. Origins is not next year, but the year after for me. I'm slowly making my way through the cons. One sea container. Maybe. Though he did convince others to buy lots. I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. I am a humble information broker. That's all I've ever claimed to be. I give people information on board games, and if they choose to purchase it, that's up to them. All right. Yes, I am. I am wearing my Family Time Games shirt that I got from Gen Con last year. So I am wearing that. All right. So let's talk about this trip. I'm sad to say I couldn't even make it to my neighborhood country, UK, living in Ireland, but I'll live through your experience. Yeah, no problem. Marcel. That's Marcel. Mike, information broker, this guy. I am a humble information broker. I promise I'm not a sleazy porn bot, but I will spam your chat. So you're saying that, I can find happiness if I spend, $300 to, the African prince? That's what you're running? No, information broker. I don't push anything. I just say, here is a game. Here are my thoughts. Here's what I think you would like. And based on that, I will never forgive him for making me buy. It's a fun game, though, isn't it? Isn't it, Robert? It's a fun game. 7 is exactly. Cynthia's got me. 7 is not lots. Okay, so let's start with, I will take you on a journey, and we're going to go on this journey together, right? The story of a young, innocent, an old, slightly dented and used innocent 46-year-old, yes, I'm 46, who embarked across the country to and across the world to the wonderful land of Jolly Old, and what we saw along the way, and we'll see how it goes. So, we start our story on Wednesday. I don't know why I'm doing this. We start our story on a warm summer's afternoon as I board the plane and I'm getting ready to go, and then I find out that I'm seated next to this guy. All right, so this guy's a jerk, and all he wanted to do was just talk about board games and try to get me to buy and back Kickstarters. I don't know who he was. I just told him, listen, I'm just an information broker. I don't need to back your board games, so let's sit here, put my headphones on, and then we will go through the flight. After a while, he said, cool. I just noticed that lady behind me. Just noticed her back there. I haven't even looked at all these pictures, I swear to God. So, got on the plane, took off at about, the flight was supposed to be 8:55. We ended up leaving at about 9:15. Landed at noon in the UK. Let me do that. Okay, landed at noon in the UK. And then proceeded, after landing and picking up luggage, going to get on a train for 4 hours to go to Edinburgh to hang out with see Edinburgh, because I love the city. I think it's gorgeous, but to see that and fly. So after 12 hours of flight, I arrive 8 hours and then 4 hours on a train, arrive in Edinburgh. Sun's up. I'm tired, cranky. Not probably the best mood, but get some food, and then immediately went to sleep and just ended the day. So the next day I woke up, and first of all, I've learned that when you go further north, the sun comes up a lot earlier. So at about 4:30 a.m. the sun came up, and it was up until probably like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Like, that was the span of sunlight, which was cool because the day was beautiful. It was overcast skies, which I love overcast. I'm not someone who's like, oh, I need it to be like 90 billion degrees outside so that I could feel the sun on my skin. I'm dark enough. I don't like sunlight. I'm from the Caribbean. I used to live on the equator. I hate being hot. Okay. So it's so I definitely don't like heat. So going here, it wasn't hot. It was I don't think, no, our room did have AC, but it only went down to a certain temperature. The rest they just tell you to open up the window if it's too hot. I think our room didn't have a window, so that's why there was an AC in the room, but it was still very, very beautiful out. And the train station's right here. This is Edinburgh Waverley. That's the train. As soon as you get off the train, you just walk up this ramp that's right here, and you are in the thick of it. It's in the middle of the city, and it's gorgeous because everything is at an incline to. Everything is hills. This is one part of starting that mile that you walk to get to the castle. And so there's shops there, there's government buildings, there's the university, there's living, all that stuff is integrated here. So it was a gorgeous day. So I went for I walked probably like 2 miles that morning, just enjoying the beauty that is Edinburgh. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And so this is kind of me taking side and side. And this is the castle over here. But you would walk here, go all the way up the street, and then make a right, and then you just keep walking uphill until you get to the castle. And it was gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. It was beautiful. Anyway, there were 3 days that I spent here, just kind of walking around. And every day I woke up at 6 a.m. Scotland time, and I just went walking. Like, there were so many places to walk. There were so many places to... like, the city was just alive, and it was gorgeous. I don't know. I love the architecture of this city. I love all, like, moving, driving about. It was just... You forgot to add 10 feet of snow. haggis for breakfast. I didn't have haggis while I was there, but I've had haggis before. I've had haggis and black pudding before, and I like them both. But I usually, I always say, like, before I tell someone what it is, I tell them to eat it. Like, and I just honestly, do you trust me? Just eat it. And once they eat it, they're like, oh, this tastes pretty good. And that's when I tell them what it is, so that their brain doesn't go into that reaction of, oh, yeah. Yeah, this is one of my kind of, if I'm going to retire, this is where I'll be placed. This is one of those places. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? I haven't met Bob, a total blackout would be preferable. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was, okay, so, every day, every morning was about 12 degrees Celsius, and I think you're supposed to double it and then add 32. I believe that's the math. Cynthia told me how to do it, but it was just go there in the winter, change your mind. It probably would get ridiculously cold, but to me, I prefer to be cold than hot. Okay, I can put on more clothes. I can't take off skin, so I prefer to be more cold than hot. Cold weather doesn't bother me. I think what bothers me would be the amount of snow. That would bother me. If it's 5 feet of snow, that's a problem, because I don't want to do that work, right? But if it just gets cold, I'll just put on some warm clothes and be fine. All right, so let's see, where are we? So I'm walking up that road, and this is the mile that you get to Edinburgh Castle, and there's all this just beautiful architecture, cobblestone roads, and there are these places called closes, and I remember Bob told me that's because people used to, like, they built the buildings close, but everyone lived in those closes, and that's how that goes. Oh, I left Florida. I'm never going back there. I hate Florida. So, but in those closes, there's stairs, kind of like shortcuts. So if you don't want to walk the entire mile, you can walk up 10 bajillion stairs to do shortcuts to get up through to different sections of this road. And I think I did one of them one morning. I did like this really, really steep one, but I just did it because I was like, I need to be able to do this. Like, this will let me know I'm not old. So I was able to do it. I did not pause. It was a straight walk. So it surprised me even that I was able to do that. Terry gets so cold, your man bits would freeze off, and you would be chasing them as you... Yeah, it was good cardio. I just wanted to prove that I could do it. And I did this every day that I was there. I walked this and walked back down and walked all, like, by the university and everything. And it was just great. Where the hell is Bob? He should be here. Bob will be in these pictures. This to me is, the couple of days I met Bob... You'll see a picture of him in there. So this is just pictures of the beautiful architecture. And while I was there, like, Bob, he drove in. I think he said it took him about an hour to get into Edinburgh he's about 30 minutes away because there was something going on and there was a lot of stuff happening. So he drove in, and I'll tell you the story of this now. So he drove in, and he said, hey, just look for the guy with his hand out the window. And I'm like, I'll probably be the only black guy there. You can find me easily. So I was like, it shouldn't be a problem. And yeah, I was a needle in a haystack, which was fine by me. That doesn't bug me as long as people don't make a big deal about it. And so he's driving. And I noticed this guy with his hand out the sunroof, like it's just up in the air out the sunroof as he's driving down the road. So I was like, okay, that's Bob. So he picks us up and we drive around, and all he's doing is playing tour guide. He is talking about the city, he's talking about the structures, he's telling me about the culture, and he drives us all over the city because he used to live there as a kid and grew up there. So he showed us where he lived, he showed us the houses, he talked about kind of, what life is like living there, and it was just fantastic. So it was nice to do. This is more of walking. Yes, there's a lot of pictures of me. Get used to it. So, but he talked all about what closes were, how, how the southern folk, the English, are regarded in Scotland, and all the different things and stuff that goes with it. But yeah, this is just me walking this one morning. I just loved it. This right here is that was my mark. It's a massive. I don't want to call it an obelisk, it is, and it's just like this structure, this massive structure that sits in the center of the city. If I just know where that is, I know exactly where I was. It's very easy to navigate the roads there, which is great. This is, once again, this is the main cathedral square. I feel like they used to probably, maybe it was during, times when security was tighter, or COVID times where they used to gate people coming in. But since then, this is just an area that you just kind of walk through. But there are many of those, and as you can see, the city is just gorgeous. Everybody's walking. Everybody's actually quite friendly. Everyone was always smiling, saying hello, and having a good time. And so as I walked all the way up here, because that's the castle, so I walked all the way up there, came back, walked all the way back down. This is a museum. I was waiting for it to open, and there's a park right in the center where that structure, that statue is. The statue is behind me, and so there's this massive park that's here that people come, they just sit on the park, not tourists, like people who live there come sit there. Everybody brings their dogs out, and everyone's just having a good relaxing time. Hey Jess, what's going on? So it's just pretty. This is what it looked like all day, and it never got hot. Never. Like, it was just, and I don't mean like, oh, it was freezing. No, it was just, the temperature was chef's kiss perfect, and I loved it. So I think this might be the video. Is this the video? Or it might be. Is that the video? Let me see. No, this is just the pictures of me showing my entire walk. This is the video, so it should load up. And it's just me scanning across the entire city. So you can see like how gorgeous everything is and how the hills and everything sit. The hotel that I stayed in was called the Le Mans Hotel, and it was in one of, like, a building just like that, the Central Road. And when you go inside, they walk you up, and they don't have room numbers, they have room names. And so like different destinations, Tokyo, San Francisco, and you would stay in those rooms and have just this really, really great time being there. Oh, look, there's this guy. So I ran into this guy with his hand out the window, out his sunroof. And he started talking about just taking us around the city. As you can see, like, there's these roads that kind of dip down and go to different pubs and bars and restaurants and all that's there, which is really great. Anyone else seeing something by his monitor head, or is it just the monitor? What are you saying? What? Wait, is that... No? What is that? I don't know what that is. You're talking about that. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I got nothing. I got nothing. Something's probably going to kill me in 2 seconds. That's probably what it is. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's the clip. Yeah, it's the clip. Is it distracting? It's the clip for the green screen. So I have a pole that is right here. This is a pole. I don't do shows on it, right? This is for, but I wrap a green screen around it. This is just the clip that's holding the green screen in place. It just is showing for some reason right now. So hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, ice cream. They eat ice cream no matter what weather it is. Summer, winter. So we went to gelato, and I am lactose intolerant, so I can't eat ice cream. However, they had sorbet, and that's what mine is, a mango sorbet that I had, and then he got ice cream, and we just kind of just hung out all day. We hung out all day. He picked us up around it had to be about 10 or 11 his time, and we drove until dark. Like, He took us to all these different locations, explained the city. It was great. No, it wasn't. It wasn't cold out. It was just beautiful. That was the thing. I thought it would be freezing, but it wasn't. Looks like California being jealous. I thought it was on my screen. It's a clip spider. Yeah. It's the clip for the green screen. If it bothers y'all too much, I can just pause real quick and try to hide it. So actually, let me do that. I'll be right back. Ta-da! Nope, it's not gone. It's still... Oh. Because the top one's showing now. That's funny. Ah, boy. Yeah, what you gonna do? Well. We will move on. Enjoy the clip that I moved from here to now here. Let's see. The Irish do it as well. Ate ice cream with friends in a hailstorm. Yeah, it's really great. No biggie. Oh, okay. Please continue. Don't do shows on it. You don't know what I do in my spare time, Pickle. People are wiping their screens like crazy, probably. Bob with his blue suede shoes. Yeah, so he came, he hung out, he took us to just like this restaurant, and then we just, like I said, he just drove us around, we walked around. It was a really great time. Pole pie would be even worse. In summer, they're surprised Bob didn't drag you to the beach. No, it was just such 8 hours later. So, so it was good. So we walked around. We had a really good time. So there was a story of this dog. So the story of this dog, and to the left is a cemetery. So the story of this dog is he and his owner were very close. And when he passed, when the owner passed, the dog would walk every day to the cemetery and sit there. Right? Yes, I'll talk about that in a second. So the dog will walk every day and sit at his owner's grave. This is a statue of the dog that did it. So they're saying like this was an actual thing that happened, and this is a statue of the dog. Now they bronzed the dog. Like this is not the real dog, right? They made a statue of the dog that was bronze. And what you're seeing, the rubbing his nose is supposed to be good luck. So actually the bronze is faded right here. It's not on purpose. It's faded because everybody kept rubbing the dog's nose. And over the years, the bronze kind of came off. So what you're seeing here is people rubbing the dog's nose for good luck. I did. Yes, I did. I did rub the dog's nose, and that's why I took the picture. Because I was like, yep, I'm going to get a picture with this lovely puppy. But yeah, it's one of those heartfelt stories, and it's just great. But if you notice, like there's stickers all over this pole and on the wall and everywhere, but none on this dog because people really love this statue and what it represents. So it was just held there. The eyes are kind of looking at me, though. They're judging me. They're judging me slowly. They're like, please, don't touch me. That's what they're saying. All right. So, so this is a massive hill on the other side of Edinburgh that he took us up, and I took this picture during at this time because it encapsulates a lot of things. The statue, the structure that I know where I'm going. And then there's this symbol here. This is the mall, right? That was built. And this designer came in. Is it silent? The massive hill? It was not. So this is the mall that's here. And the designer that came in just kind of said, oh, we're going to make this nice little structure that looks cool. But the locals refer to it as the poop emoji mall because it looks like the poop emoji. So when Bob told me that, I couldn't unsee it. Before I was like, oh, that's a cool structure. It's very, it looks like an ice cream cone and it looks pretty cool. He's like, nope, it's poop emoji mall. This is the observatory that's on top of the hill that's over here. And they too have a very large clock tower. It's not Big Ben size, but it's large enough. This area is the hangout spot for teenagers. they were everywhere here. So so this is what this area was. As you come up the hill, there's just well, I can't say millennials. Teenagers aren't millennials anymore. That's my, I'm a Gen Xer. But they were just teenagers everywhere, listening to music, hanging out, smoking, all the teenager things that teenagers do. They were just all up here. So so there were tourists up here, and then nothing but teenagers. That's it. Get off my lawn. So, but this was once you stood up here, you could see the Firth River, the Firth, and it says the Forth on Firth, or the Firth on, the Forth on Firth. It was the Firth that was there, and so you could see it just lying around, and it was beautiful. All right, that's London. So after we completed our lovely visit to beautiful Edinburgh, shown around by Bob. Thank you so much, Bob, for taking the time to show us there. We there from Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hit the train Sunday. Hit the train Sunday morning, and 4 hours down to London. So we got into London, left at noon, got into London at 4, checked into we were dead set. We were at Trafalgar Square. That was where the hotel was. I was like, I'm going on vacation. I don't, I haven't been on vacation in a long time. This is the whole, the reason I'm saving up and saving money and eating ramen and all this stuff. So when I travel, I could travel in style. So we ended up staying at the hotel in Trafalgar Square, and it was gorgeous when we got down there. So getting into the hotel, we checked in, then immediately just started walking around and passed by. Once we're in London, we got into, this is the West End of London where Chinatown is, and they don't downplay Chinatown. It's Chinatown. And they have all this this is common. This isn't like, oh, there's a festival going on. No, this is Chinatown. And as you go, it's a large block of just all these different structures, different foods, different styles, different everything that is just beautiful to walk through. And everywhere you can walk, you have no idea what that means to me where I live. You have to drive if you want to walk. All right, everything is just kind of neighborhood based. Everything is just centered around being that, and it's I gotta tell you, being able to just happily walk anywhere was beautiful. And so every morning I went for a walk. I walked. I always went. One morning when I met one of my friends there who lives here, he came over from Ireland. He lives in Dublin, and he came over from Ireland to visit. So he met us, and then I just kind of chatted, and I walked around. Me and him just walked and talked for I think we walked for about 2 hours and just didn't care. Time passed because it was, weather was nice, company was amazing, and the sights were just beautiful. So we just kept walking the whole time. What do you mean you can't walk where I live? I have no idea what it means. What is it like in your neighborhood? So yeah, I can go walking. It's not like I live in, I can go walking, but there's no paths. There's nothing to see. There's no sidewalks. There's just road and off-road and grass, right? So if I walk out my front door, I can walk to the end of the neighborhood on the sidewalk, and then that's it. There's no more sidewalk. There's no walking paths. There's nothing to see. There's no city. It's just road with tons of cars passing by very quickly and dirt to walk on. There's no feel of it, right? And there's not a lot of people out walking either. So it's dangerous and not agreeable. Well, it's not dangerous. You can just walk on the side of the road and walk, but nobody walks here. Everybody's driving their car. Everybody is too absorbed in themselves to be friendly. Like if I pass by if someone's walking by me, they're going to walk by me as fast as they can because they don't want to acknowledge that I'm there. And or they probably got someplace that they need to get to, and they're just absorbed in, or they're looking at their phone or talking to somebody on their phone, and they're going by. There's no community, if that makes sense. So as I'm walking along these places, there's always roads to just there's always sidewalks. There's people going to and fro. There's, whether they're going down to the tube or just walking about. It's just, right? But here it was gorgeous because not everybody was friendly, right? I'm not going to say that everybody was friendly here, but everybody was out. Everybody was moving about. There was life. There was a vibe to London. And each section of London had its own vibe. The West End had its own vibe. Here, if I step outside, it's just me. And then I start walking, and I may pass somebody else, but that person is there to exercise. They're there running for fitness, or they walking to the bus stop, but they're very few and far between people moving about. Exactly, Matthew's like, welcome to America. They probably don't want you to think they're trying to kill you. I don't know, but it's a different vibe over there, and I really liked it. So walking about was a joy for me. Like I like walking. I do. The place where I live now, so I moved when I moved here, they had a nature trail that you can walk that was I won't say right across the street, but just probably like not even that, like 2 minutes from where my from where my housing community is. 2 minutes. So I could walk out the community, walk a minute, and then I'm on the trail. Boom, done. Then they shut it off to build a massive building that the person who built it finally said, yeah, I don't want that building anymore, and left out. So now the trail's cut off, the building's not done, and I would have to walk 10, I might exaggerate a little because I haven't checked the walking steps though, but I have to walk around the structure, around like 4 other businesses to just get to the trail. They've cut it off completely, which sucks. So I haven't been walking, right? And it's how I clear my head. It's how I kind of make sense of the day. And I haven't been doing that. So it was driving me nuts. But I didn't realize how much I missed it until I traveled to Scotland and to England, where walking is a thing. People do it. So when I got there, I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. So every day, I walked somewhere, and it was so great. I remember getting to Bristol with my map and walking around, and a few people stopped to ask if I needed help. Yep, very nice. Useless town planning. How did they approve a building that blocks off a walking trail? Money. That's how they approve it. If someone says, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars, they're like, yeah, forget people. Here, I will be straight up about, for people who don't live in America, right? Let that glitz and glamour fall away. It's not glitz and glamour. Because when I was on the train headed to London, I met this wonderful gentleman and his grandson, and they were headed to a game at Wembley Stadium, and they said that his grandson, who is he is in primary school, right, said, hey, I want to, like, oh, Americans, I want to visit America, and it just looks so cool in the movies, and I'd love to see California. Like, he was just starstruck by this whole American picture that is created. And I was like, it's not like that. let me, I don't want to tear down your dreams. You can visit, but it ain't gonna be what you think it is. All right. It's everybody for themselves. It's business. It's industry. That's what it is. Bottom line, you will find neighborhoods around that community is there in those small neighborhoods where people talk, and even that has drama to it. But outside of neighborhood, everybody's for themselves, right? Businesses are trying to take your money. There are other things happening here that's not so great. I mean, this is where I'm going to bend around political talk. Bend around. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll just bend around to give you an example. There is a specific official who in that city where that official started, there was a buildup of kind of the sewage design was not great in low income places. So this official said to themselves and to people at large, "Oh, I'll solve your problem. All that sewage I'm going to dump into the river." That river will just take care of it. It's not a big deal. So he dumps it into the river. The river flows to the ocean, and he triggers a red tide. That is still going on today, and that happened 3 years ago. He triggered a red tide. Prior to him doing that, the area was full of fish and bird life. People who walked across, who were walking there or running for health said, yeah, you could see all these sea life and stingrays and all this stuff. And now they're all gone because he triggered a red tide by dumping all the waste into the river. People are out for themselves. And he did not face any repercussions for it. So there you go. So does my wife, she's from Chicago. Yeah, you're ready for Europe, brother. I had 100% the same experiences. Yeah. And so that's why I was like, I think I'm traveling. I want to travel a lot more because I want to see the rest of the, I'm a Caribbean kid, so I've seen parts of the world and I've experienced it. I just want to see more and experience more. Anyway, that's my bend around that stuff. Walk Chinatown. Walk to multiple days. Walk to Buckingham Palace, and this is everybody. This is how many people were out. It was a lot of people. A lot of people. I've done a lot of overseas travel and found we all live in very similar environments. Good, bad, and ugliness is everywhere. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I think it's just more peeling back the rose-covered glasses of U.S. is the promised land. It's the promised land for some. But there's bad everywhere. There's good everywhere. I just want to be able to walk places. That's all I want. People have asked me, what are you looking for when you in a place that you live? I look for I told this to Brian and Cynthia when we were there, when we get to the UK Game Expo stuff. I look for places where I am invisible, if that makes sense. I want y'all to soak that in, where I don't want to go to a place where everybody's staring at me or wondering what I'm doing here or all this other stuff. I'm invisible, which means they don't care. You are who you are. People are people. Like this community. In this beautiful community that we're all part of the hobby. I mean, if I didn't have a channel and y'all are coming to hang out, I would be invisible because y'all don't care. You just want to have fun. You want to meet some good people. You want to have a good time. That's what I want. And when I move to a place, that's what I want to experience. I want friendly people, places I can walk, and places where I'm invisible. If that makes sense. I had the same experience when I busted Germany and surroundings in Italy. Yeah. I just want people to be exactly. I just want a place where I'm like everybody else. The rule's what you make of it. People complain, but they don't change it. It starts with a friendly hello. Energy is contagious, just my opinion. It is, but some people are dicks. I'm sorry. Some people are. Anyway, Buckingham Palace. So this was the morning. So when I went on my one of my walks, walked over towards Big Ben. I love that they have these things on the road for travelers and tourists. This is not for the locals. This is for people who are idiots like me, who they're driving on the other side of the road, and when I look, I'm looking this way instead of this way. I'm looking left expecting traffic. This is the thing that says, no, idiot, look right. Look right. Traffic's coming from the right. That's what this is for. This is for the tourists. But walked over by Big Ben. Walked over by Parliament and took a picture. Y'all probably saw this as I posted it on my Instagram account. So walked over by Parliament, crossing the bridge, which the architecture is just beautiful. Oh, here's Buckingham Palace. I mean, yeah. So that was the hotel we stayed in, and I took this picture because I got a cool hat. So I thought I looked cute. Okay, all right. So take my cute picture. All right. So this is one of the gelato places. There's 10 billion of them in London. 10 billion gelato places to walk by. Every corner I walked by was a gelato place. And so I stopped, and this one was Armand, I think it was called. Put the hat on. The hat's in the other room. The hat's in the other room. I don't have it. But what they did was they take your, so Peaky Blinders I've ever seen. So they take this, and I thought this was genius, like this was cute, but then I figured out the genius in it. So they do this where they say, like, so this is mango strawberry. I like mango, Caribbean kid. So they do this. They have this mango that you that they scoop out, and with like the scoop, they turn it into this flour, and they do it all in front of you. It's not like it's done and they hand it. They build it in front of you, and they give it to you. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I realized something. This is old me, skeptical me, because I was like, why would they waste so much time doing that when they could build it? Well, no, I'm not in America where everybody cares about themselves. I'm here experiencing the culture and seeing what's going on. And then it dawned on me, no, that's not what they're doing. This is all the ice cream you get. There's nothing in the cone. So as I'm eating this ice cream and I get to the bottom, it's like I just immediately hit cone. And it's, yeah, this is genius. Make it look pretty so you can sell more using less ice cream. So anyway, when I saw that, I was like, first when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is pretty. Take a picture. And then I was, no, wait. I know this tactic. Let's see. So walking around London. This is the Court of Justice, the Royal Court of Justice. This was the... Doesn't it melt? No. And because the temperature was so nice out, as you can see, people have on jackets. I didn't need a jacket. It was about 13 degrees Celsius out. And so everybody had their jacket on just to keep cool whenever the wind would pick up a little bit. But it was a nice day. Ice cream didn't melt. Pretty on the outside, empty on the inside. Yeah, like me. But this is the Royal Court of Justice. It's a massive building. It just looked beautiful, so I took a picture. And then that's not Burger King or British Nice. I don't know. All right. So that trip ended. We were there from Sunday until Wednesday. And then it's time to get on the train to UK Game Expo to Birmingham to go there. Let's see. On a side street outside of Windsor Castle, there was a fantastic fish and chips restaurant. They served the largest halibut I had in my life, and it was fantastic crispy batter. Ooh, I wish I knew that. I would have gone down to Windsor. I've been there the last time I was in England, but no, I should have gone down there. Denzel, I wish I had Denzel's money. But then I'd spend it all on board games. This is boarding a train at Euston Station, headed to Birmingham Airport, where the convention is right next to the airport. So just basically got there. Our train leaves at noon. I took this picture because I was like, our train leaves at noon. And my dumb brain is, it has been instilled in me that if you're on time, you're late, right? So there was something going on where there was another event happening in London to where the cab driver, taxi driver, whatever name it's called, picked us up and had to zoom through these different streets and kept running into traffic. So I start panicking, like, our train leaves at noon. Our train leaves at noon. Our train leaves at noon. We're not going to be there. And the station from the hotel was 16 minutes. And to let y'all know kind of time segmenting, we left the hotel at 11. This is when we got there. So I'm panicking, like, okay, we're gonna miss the train. It's gonna be this big deal. I'm gonna lose my mind. I hate being late. I hate being late. So got there, and was told chill out, right? So I had to find it in myself to chill out. Got there, got to the board, looking at the different board, next fastest train. It is on here somewhere, but basically the but basically the train didn't have a platform. There was no platform assigned to the train. So I'm at 11:42, get out of the cab, snap a quick photo, trying to smile to be like, I'm not panicking. And I look up on the board and the train doesn't have a platform. Okay, so is the train delayed? Is it not coming? What's happening? And then there was the train strikes that were going on. So Cynthia's watching the train strike. This is what's happening in my head, okay? So Cynthia's watching this train strike and she's saying, no, you should be fine to get here. It shouldn't be an issue. But I was like, but there's no platform. What if they decided to change and they're not going to do it? and what are you gonna do? What are you gonna set up? How are we gonna get there? Do I need to rent a car? How do I drive? Oh wait, I don't know how to drive stick shift. How am I gonna deal with this? This is the things that happen in my head whenever time is involved, like in terms of I have to be somewhere. This is why on early is on time. So it all was fine. To tell you, it all was fine. The platform gets announced 10 minutes before the train leaves, right? So, and the station is super close. It's not, you don't have to walk. It's not like the airport. It's not like Atlanta airport, if anybody's tried to do that. It's very close. It's very easy and accessible. So we got on a train and head out. It took about 2 hours to get to, from the train ride. The train ride up to Edinburgh was nice. Had like a little table, very comfortable. There was a snack bar, everything. The train to Birmingham was just a train. You just got in, sat down, shut up, and drove, and just waited for it to stop, basically. And that's how it shakes out. Did I play any games while on train? Yes, I played Zelda, the new Zelda game on my Switch to calm my brain, but no board games there. Did you try to run into a wall between 9 3/4? I went to, when I was at what's the train station called that that's from? The train that brought us into London was that train station. That was that train station, which was cool. Did you say you can't drive stick? Surely I didn't hear it. No, I can't, because that's not a thing here. And that's not a thing in the US. I mean, they're stick shift cars, and people drive stick because it's a luxury, right? You don't have to. You don't need it to pass a test. So everything is automatic. Everything is automatic, and they're stick shift cars, but people don't. That's not a common thing, right? That's something that's more. It's not a common thing. So no, I never learned how to drive a stick. I think I could. I could figure it out. It's driving a car. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. So I can figure it out. But no, I never learned. 9 3/4. Oh, I said 4/4, didn't I? 9 3/4. 4/4 is yikes. I'm with you in that. I usually arrive an hour early of driving and 3+ hours early of traveling mass transit. I hate it. I'd rather sit and wait than be rushed. Exactly. Oh my God, Fred, yes. You and I are, yes. All of that of what Fred is saying is true. King's Cross. Yes, that's it. King's Cross Station. Yep. So I did go to King's Cross. Robin, I can relate completely. Baron and I fight about on time constantly. To be on time is 10 minutes early. To Baron, it's 5 minutes late. Being late. So into my mind, I am a happy-go-lucky guy, but I do have my neuroses, right? Everybody does. So if you say you don't, you're lying to yourself. Everybody does. One of my things is I always say to myself, I can't be late, especially if I'm meeting somebody, because they took the time. Let's say, for instance, if it extends to so many neurotic places, it's insane. But if I'm meeting somebody, if I am even a minute late, that's rude, because to me, they are taking the time out of their day and their time schedule to hang out, to grab a beer, to do something. If I'm going to waltz in there 5 minutes late, what does that mean that I think of their time? Right? Anyway, and when it comes to travel, like Barrett, like not Barrett, like Fred said, I don't want to feel rushed. Rush stresses me out. I just want to chill. But you're Gen X. I know. Maybe like somewhere in there, you know. I don't know. Maybe it's something that like my parents instilled in me, but being late to something, ugh. Job interviews, I'm there 10 minutes early. Dental appointments, I'm there 10 minutes early. Like, I always have to be there early. And I leave early because if I get lost, if there's bad traffic, if something's going on, whatever the contingency is, then that's just extra time I got, right? To not feel rushed and can sit down and breathe. But what happens if you're like, oh, well, we'll get there. It's only 30 minutes. That's what Google says, right? But there's a car accident. The president's driving through town for some unforeseen reason. There is a parade going on. Now you're late. And then you're like, okay, well, now I have to run from this part of the terminal to that part of the terminal because I didn't bank in the time to arrive early. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm sure you found a car to rent with an auto shift, no problem. Yeah, but it costs a lot over there. It costs a lot. I did that. The first, I learned my lesson. So I say all that in terms of being on time, but I'm not a good planner, right? If you give me a time to be there, I'll be there. I'll figure it out. But the planning stuff that builds up is like, for instance, this is my second time visiting the UK and Scotland, and so the first time I didn't do the research on the cars. So when I rented a car from at the airport at Manchester Airport. I rented a car, and I went to the car, and it was a stick shift because that's the thing. It's common. It's no big deal, right? I don't know how to drive stick shift, so I went back and I was like, I can't do this. I don't know how to drive. So I'll tear up your clutch. I'll mess up something. And so they were like, oh, well, we have one automatic car that they could rent, but the price of it was insane. But I had to do it because I'm not going to tear up a car and have to pay for it. Another reason I like Barrett. Let's keep scrolling. We don't really do autos over here. Nah, he wouldn't know what the handbrake is for. I can figure out a stick shift. I don't think it's a problem. Being late is disrespectful. That's my thing. Yeah, because people's time matters, right? I want to be aware of people's time. So, for instance, when we do the co-op stream, like I'm already sitting here waiting for it to start. Anyway, that's we get in the whole thing of everyone has their quirks. That's mine. Well, one of mine. I 100% saying, Derek, I hate being late. My wife and her family do not. Oh, it just drives me nuts. The problem with this, let me tell you the downfall of this. The downfall of this is when I was younger, this was there, right? This has been there my whole life. When I was younger, I would go to parties. Parties don't start. So if someone says a party starts at 9, it doesn't start till midnight. It's just what it is. I would arrive at 8:50 and no one would be there. And then I just like talk with the bouncers, I talk with the DJs, I talk with the people at the bar, just hang out, and then it fills in. But there's the drawback. When you're a kid, late is a thing. I don't know. I got called an old man a lot because I showed up early to everything. Best of both worlds, get your license easily in US, drive a stick in Europe. Yeah. I'm the same as you with being late. Not sure if I'm Gen X or what, though I suppose not knowing means I am. Gen Xers are we were supposed to be. I guess we were dubbed like the rebellious generation because we came after the boomers, right? And so we were supposed to be rebellious, but not all of us are rebellious. My wife is from Peru, and there's a thing called Peruvian time. 1 to 2 hours late is cultural. It's been 28 years and still not used to it. Oh my god. 2 hours late, I would. Oh. So, what I've learned is that if I'm going anywhere, someone needs to tell me when, like, tell me when people are going. Don't tell me what time until it's time to leave. That's my happy medium. Hey Daniel, what's going on? I show up early for the dental appointment to leave early, so I missed the appointment. I guess electric cars will solve that gear shifting thing. Yeah, and a lot of I know Cynthia and Brian, they have an electric car, so they drove theirs up there. It was a beautiful car. I loved it. It was very quiet and very. I liked it. I liked it a lot. They had a very nice car. Bob had his car was insane. So Bob's car had 5 cameras on it on the side, or six cameras on the front, side, back. All right. Whenever Bob wanted to park his car, there would be an overhead view, like an overhead view of the spot that he's pulling into, and pictures of where the cars are on the side. They're flattened, right? Because you can just get those sets of it, but they're flattened to where you can see distance, and he could see himself backing into the space. Like, it blew my brain. I don't know. That was an amazing car. Whenever he was like, if he was like parking on the side, it would show that side as he's moving in, and you could see the 2 cars that you're pulling in, so you know distance. You don't have to look behind you or in your mirrors. It's all on the screen. It was a cool car. I hate flying in Europe and recently in US now at some point because they won't let you check into the gate more than an hour and 2 hours early. Yeah. Yep. I feel, Fred, I feel you, man. I feel you. The party don't stop. The party don't stop till I walk in. And hey, we had electric. It was my first non-stick. Yeah, it was a cool. I loved Brian's car. I thought it was nice. It was very easy to drive. He was very mellow when driving it, and the man is a driving genius. I was born in 1994, so I guess I'm Gen Y. Yeah. Yep. I stalled out my Volkswagen New Beetle stick shifter once. The guy behind me bumped me. He walked over to my car in anger and saw the 6'5", 100-pound guy driving. He turned around and back to his truck. Oh my gosh. That's happened to me before too. That where something happened. I'm not moving fast enough. This guy pulls up and he's about to he's about to read me the riot act. And he looks over and he sees me, and then he just hunches down and drives and speeds off. Yeah. You get island time in CA. Oh, Caribbean time, yeah. It was like the scene in Police Academy. Lots of cars have to. Derek, 5 p.m. August 2nd on South Street. See you there. Oh, Stacy, don't do that. Don't do that to me, Stacy. I should not try and type one. Oh, yeah. So, next picture. We've been on here for a while. So I get to Birmingham. I meet these lovely 2 people. These wonderful 2 people pick us up from train station, and they are there having a good time. This is Cynthia and Brian, and most amazing people ever. They're super kind and friendly, and Brian is the one heckling me in chat. But they met us at the train station, and then we all stayed in the same hotel for UK Game Expo. But this, we went out to dinner at this wonderful place. This was actually a really nice place that Cynthia found. It was a nice sit-down, chill place to just hang out and have some drinks, have some lunch or dinner, and just talk. So we went there, sat, and had a really great time. Anyway, they were amazing. I love them to bits. They're my people. They're my people. Then day 1, UK Game Expo. Let's get into why y'all are here, right? We've been chatting for about an hour about my trip. Let's get into why I'm here. Day 1, UK Game Expo. The first thing I said I needed to do was visit this guy. And Cynthia was like, yes, she had already planned out what we're going to do. She already planned out all that other stuff. So I was like, cool. So we went to visit Tristan at his booth. For people who don't know who this is Tristan Hall. He created, as you can see in the back, Gloom of Kilforth, Shadows of Kilforth, 1565, St. Elmo's Pay, and he's working on the one that's behind me called Sublime Dark that he doesn't want to talk about for some reason. Anyway, went to meet him first. He was my first stop, and he was just kind of chatting with somebody else, so waited a little bit, then just got to say hi. Got to take a picture, so Cynthia took this picture. met my hero. So Cynthia took this picture and just got to chat with him. He's an amazing person. I love Tristan. Tristan's awesome. And then I came back and I because I'd met his wife before, and so I came back, said hi to her, their son, and so it was really cool just kind of hanging out with him. But he was in the zone. Tristan was in Expo mode. He was kind of, talking about the games, trying to move product, trying to sell the games and things like that. But on this side here, he had set up Call to Kill Forth. So for people to come by, see some of the art and whatnot. So I showed some of it to Cynthia, which, it's going to be great. But it was fun to meet him. So let's pause here for a second. Let's talk about the Expo Hall. So Cynthia was telling me the whole time, she's like, it's not like Gen Con, it's not as big, it's very small, so my brain's coming in, it's like, okay, well, it's just going to be a portion of the convention center, no big deal, and we'll go around, we'll play games, we'll have a good time. Again, here it's big, okay? It's big. It's two separate areas. I'm 6'1". Yeah, I'm 6'1". So we get into the area. It goes all the way back to where you see food in the back, and then to I guess that would be my right, left, whatever. There's a second floor that you walk upstairs, and it goes all the way back to registration, where there are more booths set up, as well as a free open gaming area that's back there. This is a big expo. Like, I would not compare it to Gen Con. Gen Con's bigger only because Gen Con has stuff outside of the exhibit hall, things that are going on, like multiple across different hotels and Lucas Oil Stadium. So it's bigger breadth, right? If that makes sense, bigger space wide. But if you go into the exhibit hall at Gen Con and you go into this one, they're comparable. So I would not say that, like, when I walked in here, I was like, oh, we were done in an hour. We spent the entire expo walking through this area, these things. So if you speed walk, you get through it. But if you take your time, look at everything that's going on, it will take you the entire expo to get through these exhibit halls. So it is by no means small, just saying that, okay? Got to meet Tristan. Tristan's awesome. And then another picture of me, Tristan. Okay. So after we met with Tristan, we went walking around, and I saw the designer of Terraria, the board game. So if you've ever played the IP, this is a new game that's coming to Kickstarter, right? It is going to be Terraria, the board game. It's going to be a crafting exploration game. There will be fighting like zombies and slimes and dead eyes, because that's what was in Terraria. I didn't realize B and C. Oh yeah, they do. So I went and I listened to the dev talk about it. What's really cool, I don't know if I got it in the shot. Did I get it in the shot? Oh, yes, I did, but you'll barely be able to see it here. Let me see if I can zoom in some. Here. Right here. So what's cool is you've got this board where when you craft equipment or when you craft armor, these cards that are on here are see-through. So there was a game, I can't remember what the game was called, but there was a game that you played where you had a base card and then you slid in like these transparent cards that to boost that, to show that the base card's getting strong. I can't remember what it's called. It's gone out of my head. If you remember, let me know. But this is yes, thank you, Jan. Mystic Veil. Yes, Mystic Veil. So this is like that, where these are the armor things that you craft are those see-through, and you put them on top of this indented board, and this is dual layer. So you put them on top of your character to see your character's armor being built out, which I thought was so cool. So you find tools, you craft tools, you build these things up, and then you come here to where you dig lower, you do building, you do exploring, you gain resources. This is a full-on crafting game. And when I saw this, I was like, this is because the dev was saying that he's a huge fan. He played like 300 plus hours of Terraria, and he wanted to bring that game to board game fashion. And it was it was cool. Like, as he's explaining what's going on and all these different sets that you craft, that you build, that you find units. Yeah, here's one of the armor cards right here. So as you can see, it's clear and it's see-through because you're just laying it on, and those things boost your armor, boost your health, boost all those different things whenever you're fighting. And here you can see, like, this is how you craft these things. So you build those tools and then you have them and you can use them, and it's just, I'm excited for this game. I want to see more gameplay. I want to see more. He didn't say whether there would be. He didn't reveal too much because he said that this is still prototype. A lot of things that can be changed, but you see the different biomes as well. There's forest, there's desert. And you would have these decks, and as you walk, you flip these cars over, and it's like the board is scrolling with you, which I thought was cool. If you've ever played, like, Shovel Knight has a scrolling board, but this one's different, where it's as you're walking, the board is unfolding, and you'll see, like, different biomes that you're walking into because it's a big deck of cards that you can use, which is cool. So it's not like the boards, you take off the back card, you put on the front card, so the board's just kind of scrolling, which I thought was cool. Anyway, this was the second stop that we made, which was nice. I don't know if there's a galactic map, not sure. I don't even like the video game. Not even John DeClaire can save this one for me. Oh, I think it's going to be great. UK Game Expo this year. 570 exhibits and 32,000 unique visitors. 52,000 total was there. I think that's a successful expo in my opinion. All right. After leaving that, I passed by and took some pictures of Dagger. So Dagger, let me take a drink real quick. So Marvel Dagger is Eldritch horror with a Marvel theme on it. Even the guy who was there, he was like, who was teaching the game. He wasn't from FFG, but he was demoing. He was doing demoing for them. He was like, "Have you ever played Eldritch horror?" I said, "Yes." He was like, "Yeah, okay, you're fine. Sit down." So this is Marvel Dagger. Cynthia and I got to play a game of it. We got to play some missions. Some of it's cool, some of it's but it will. I already pre-ordered this, so when it comes in, you'll see what I'm talking about as it played, and I'm sure people will get it way more, more interesting content creators will get it way before me, and so they'll be able to you'll see a gameplay of it. I fully expect Rolling Solo or Meet Me at the Table or a one-stop co-op shop to get a hold of this game so y'all can see a preview of it, which will be great. But basically, you travel the world. Let's see if this theme sounds familiar. You travel the world trying to stop the villain from doing whatever his plan is, as enemies crop up around that you have to deal with that appear through portals. There are cities that are on this map that provide bonuses if you stay in that city. One of the cities, the Iliad, moves around the board. As the threat track goes down, if it gets to a specific number, if it gets to 20, you lose the game. The team up track is new. That's a new thing. And then this is the board. And is this where I start talking about Marvel? No, it's not. That's just our pass by. So we pass by. I've got other pictures. When I come back, I'm going to explain all about Dagger for people who are curious. We kept walking. We ran into this group. Is it two pictures? Yeah, here it is. Gooey Cube, who does these D&D base 5e modules, right? Where they have pre-generated characters, like backstory, everything that can be used. They have world maps. They have it all adventures. They have everything built out. It's just a whole encompassing, unique system. And so these three are the devs behind it. They created it. And what you do is you buy these boxes of full-on modules that comes with all this stuff, and they build out the story. Great group of people. Expensive product. But great group of people who built it out. We chatted with this gentleman for a little while, and it was nice to just kind of see all the different adventures that they've all crafted around this world that they built. What Cynthia was saying was cool when we stopped here is she is like, if you if you are a teacher or you are an educator of some sort, or you are, or your kids are into D&D or want to get into it, without the stress of having to create a character or wondering, they're like, here's your sheet, here's your backstory, here's all your stuff. Let's get into the module and play it. And it's a really great entry system. And that's what they are selling. They're selling kind of a really great entry system with a sprawling world with a lot of adventure that built out. So this was, we sat, Cynthia and I and Brian that were here, and we sat and we just kind of talked to them for a little bit, and then we said we'd be back. We never came back, but we said we'd be back to check it out. I don't know if Cynthia's going to do this for her kids, but it's an expensive endeavor, but it's all encompassing. That's why it's expensive. So it should be a good thing. Hey, Matthew, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for doing this. You're my friend, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chat. Okay. So then we passed by this lovely table. At first I thought it was like the Star Trek game that's already out. It's not. This is created by, I had the name of the company in my head and it's gone. Gale Force 9. Gale Force 9, I think is what it's called. GF9. This is created by GF9. And this is a new game that's going to be coming out very shortly, and it's called Star Trek Away Missions. So those are good for the nights when the regular crew can't make it, similar to doing a pre-built one-shot. Yeah, pretty much. But this is a new game that's going to be dropping, I believe in the fall, where it's a 2-player game. There's no solo mode. There's no adding on extra players. It's a 2-player game. And you take on the scenarios as either you're the... Oh, there that is. Ooh, why isn't that showing? That's weird. I don't know why that's not showing. There it is. There it is. It's showing now. And let's move this over here. Okay. Yeah, it's the same people who made Aliens. Exactly. So... basically, you're either playing the crew of the Enterprise or you're playing another faction, which is in this one it's the Borg. They're also on their release having the Romulans and the Klingons as what you have on there. But I played the Borg and Cynthia played the Enterprise crew. And what you do, if you look on these cards, let me see if I can zoom in on this one here. So this is Will Riker's card, right? What you see here is how much dice you roll, but it's also your health. So if you take damage, you're actually rolling less dice. So if Riker's going to do a skill test, he's going to roll 2 dice because he's got 2. If he's doing defense, he'll roll 3. So if they attack, you defend against them. And if he's attacking, he'll roll 2. When you take damage, you get to choose which ones you're going to take off. And that's the less dice that you're going to roll, kind of showing your fatigue going down. As you also have these cards. Cynthia won. You won by points. I assimilated your entire crew. You won by points. Don't even. I assimilated everybody on the Enterprise, but she won by points. Yep, there's some dice. So it's a point score game. So it's not okay, there's this mission where you have to complete an objective and then you win or lose. It's basically on these cards that you have here, and I didn't get a good shot of this one, I'm sorry. But you have this action, this attack action that you can do. So you can do an action and you can move per round. So it's so you'll do an action and you'll move, or you'll move and do an action, however you want to do it. So, but you get these cards that you can play that let you do actions, counter things, heal your characters, but it's all on the cards that you have, and it's pure card play. So that's what it is. It's pure card play. So you're playing these cards as actions and doing these different things. There's reactions. So I went to assimilate one of Cynthia was using Worf, and she came through and she killed one of my Borg. And my next action, I assimilated Worf. And And so once I assimilated him, I take his card and he becomes mine. So her pool was dwindling of heroes and mine was growing, building up. But basically, these are the Borg that are over here. I had 3 of them that I played with, but as I assimilated, I started getting more and more of players and turns for myself, and she started getting less and less turns. But she had these cards that could mitigate my assimilation effects, right? She had these cards that could do it. And she would play them as interrupt cards. And I think I had a really great one where I rolled and I was about to assimilate Riker. And she played this card that completely cut me off. And I was like, because I'd rolled well that I thought I had it. I just had to hit him. I had to, if I took him down, I assimilated him. And I'd gotten like this explosive play. And she's like, oh, no, you got to re-roll that. And so she got away, which was great. It was fun. I think this game will be niche fun. Yeah, I think it'll be like it's targeting. Oh, Marcel, you wait until I get to more pictures. I have funny stories about me rolling well. So, it's funny that not it's funny. It's fine-tuned for a specific group. So basically, if you like Star Trek, you'll love the theme. But it's 2 players, so it's 1v1 the whole time. 1v1. I believe you can make it 4-player, but 2 people control the away team, and the other 2 people will control the enemies that the away team's fighting against. But it's still 1v1 when you peel back all the paint, right? And so there's no solo mode on here that's coming with it at all. And as you move about, you're just playing cards, offsetting and trying to circumvent each other. The purpose of the game. The away team is trying to complete missions. So they actually have a mission that they want to complete, which is the mission deck, right? Once they defeat that mission, or once they complete all the missions, game over. And then you score, and whoever has the highest score wins. And the score is based on the cards that you have. If you look down here, you see this card here that says 5 points. So if I play that card, it goes into the bank as 5 points when it's after I use it. This person with the highest points wins the game. But what are the ending game effects are either the crew completes their mission or the Borg assimilates everybody. And that is end game, score it, you're done. And the highest score wins. So how Cynthia won was she was playing cards like crazy, being strategic. I'm just walking around Borg. And as she was completing missions and gaining cards and gaining points, I was assimilating her characters. And so finally we ended it because I believe she completed her mission, and that's what ended the game. And she won even though I had more characters because she had more points than me. I was surrounding her. I was closing ranks. I think she just had Data and an ensign. That's all she had left. I had assimilated everybody. This is starting to sound like a fishy story. Let's not talk about rolling. Oh, we're going to talk about it, Cynthia. We're going to talk about it. What's this? Did the dog statue really help your dice rolls? No. It did not. I rolled well because Cynthia rolled poorly, and then when she stopped rolling, I started rolling terribly. She won on time. It was only 3 turns. Gotcha. So, hanging out with these good people, I met their friend who was here. I had not known this gentleman previous, but he's a very amazing guy to chat with, very funny. And so met with that. So this is us sitting down to have some lunch while we're hanging out. This is on the other side where you pass by when you go up the stairs to the second part of the hall. And Lorcana had this massive booth. And it doesn't look massive from here. It's like, oh, it looks small. There's all this open area. It's only this open area because people were not gaming presently, but when we came back, this was full up of people. And everyone's playing Disney Lorcana. If you don't know what Disney Lorcana is, it's their Ravensburger and Disney collaborated to create an alternative to Magic the Gathering as a TCG. So it's a trading card game instead of an LCG, which is a life a living card game, and a living card game is always evolving and building different stories. Though Arkham Horror is a living card game, but TCGs are trading card games. You buy these packs, and these packs can have anything in it. It can have the same cards you have. It can have new cards and new abilities. It's just, think of Magic the Gathering. That's what Lorcana is. It's Disney's version of Magic the Gathering, and it was actually pretty cool. They are. It was actually pretty cool. It was the card art. It's Disney, so they're gonna get the top artist probably, but the card art was beautiful. I watched as I was listening, and as we were walking by, I was looking and watching the gameplay of it, and it played like Magic. You tap cards, you play cards, you do that stuff. It's very much like Magic with the Disney team. Now, why didn't I jump in this line and give it a try? Because this was the end of the line. This was the beginning of the line. This is where you go when you want. So we're walking by. This entire area here is wide open. It's not roped off. And I see these people playing Lorcana. So I step in and I'm like, oh, I want to see what this looks like. And one of the people's like, the line starts over there. I was like, no, I'm just looking. And they said, okay. So I just kind of looked over their shoulders. They were playing and listening to what's happening. But the line, and this is where the line started, and it wrapped all the way around the booth, and then it came all the way past these people to about right here. And it stayed that way the entire convention. I was like, no. I will watch whoever's gonna get a preview copy of this game. Whoever is, what the big name content creators who's gonna get a preview of this, they can tell you about it. I'm not standing in that line. I'm at Expo and I'm gonna enjoy it. So I didn't stand in line, but card art's cool. Gameplay is exactly like Magic. There's nothing different. So, but the card art's beautiful. Then we came here and we saw Van Ryder Games booth. And Brian got upset. So we saw Van Ryder's booth. And they have, you know Van Ryder. They have this wonderful game called Final Girl. So as we're there, I do my responsible duty of being an information broker to explain, right? I explained what the game entailed, how it played, and if I thought it was fun, right? What the value would be. How's the replayability? What the replayability was of the game, how you can mix and match scenarios with killers with different scenarios and different final girls to build the game out. That there were 2 series of them with a lot of content flow and wonderful things that you can have. And if you don't want it all, right? I even threw that in there. If you don't want it all, you can buy the episodes individually and still mix and match how they went. This was the information I provided, to which Cynthia got all of it. She picked up season 1, series 1, series 2. The guy behind the counter was listening to me talk about it and he was cracking up. But he which was really cool, which he recognized me, which was fantastic. But he was like, and he even sweetened the deal. Like this is how it worked. He even sweetened the deal. He was like, I'll crack open one box and put in the box of props for you free of charge, right? And so as soon as he did that, Final Girl Series 1 and Series 2 went with Cynthia and Brian. That all I did was provide information. That's all I did. I did not say buy it. Derek stands on corners in his neighborhood slinging board games. Don't believe this information broker nonsense. So they picked up. So she picked up all of Final Girl. She got it all. AJ said that he was here, but he didn't. He was like he was going to come over because I've chatted with AJ before, and he was the designer, and so he said he was going to come over, but he was talking with some other people. And what I found out was, I was like, really? You were? That would be cool. But it was more, but I know you're busy. And then I see on Twitter, he took a picture of me, Brian, and Cynthia at the booth and posted it on Twitter. And I was like, I'm on TV. I did not say buy it. No, I never say buy it. I never say buy it. I say you would like it. That's all I said. So here's Cynthia. I love this picture. I love this picture so much. This is her looking at me. So here's Cynthia, and so he's popped open the box and he's putting in the box of props, right, for her to have. But here's Cynthia looking at me like, I'm not. I see what you're doing, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just providing information. But I love this picture. But this is the transaction occurring. No, Minecraft games, I did say buy it. I love this picture so much. Anyway, so that's Final Girl. All right, after Final Girl, we went back down the stairs and we came over to Asmodee's location. We came over to Asmodee's booth where you see this gentleman here. That's where they're playing Dagger, and here is The Witcher. So this is the Witcher board game. We sat down, we got some time in, and we got to try it out, to sit down to play and see what it was like and if people would like it. Kind of jealous of Cynthia, to be honest. I would not mind owning anything Final Girl. Final Girl's fun. It's a fun game. So we sat down here, got to play it. We were playing because she was an amazing demo person. She was just, this is who Asmodee needs to hire for all their demos. She was just straight up amazing. So. But she was explaining everything, very, very friendly, very patient, and she moved quickly. Like we got through the turns. She knew how to teach it, but in a way that she can keep the flow of the game going, and everybody would have a good time. And so I think she did a great job. So she taught us how to play The Witcher. And I had my thoughts on The Witcher, so I'm going to share those thoughts now. My thoughts on The Witcher are, if you've played Skyrim, the board game by Modifius, you've played The Witcher. If you like Skyrim, the board game by Modifius, you'll like The Witcher. They're different from the standpoint of Skyrim had that deck of cards that told a story that build everything out. The Witcher doesn't have that. It just has they have cards that you play that sets missions up for you to do and side missions, but you walk about fighting monsters, doing side missions, returning to cities, doing those types of things. And then there's dice for you to roll for successes. There's no more or less failures. It's just how the game shakes out based on the stats that you have is what you roll to try to do things and fight monsters. The card combos were akin to Tainted Grail, where you had a card. If you have a card, I'll talk about what I think of The Witcher, but if you have a card, if there's this little tab on it that has like a slash, but the tab is red, you can then combo a red card on top. And if that red card has a green tab, you can combo a green card on top. So you can actually build combos up and deck build to build your deck up to get stronger, because you can buy things from the market, which was right here, to add to your deck, which can add to your combo, which can add to your... Oh yes, that was the dice poker. I remember that because Cynthia and I was... So the dice poker for the dice was Cynthia was going to go into combat against an enemy, and we got to bet if she would win or lose. Which was kind of jacked up. She lost and we got paid. We all said she was going to die. And then, but the dice are for the dice poker aspect, but the combat is in the cards. And so you would be laying these cards down, and let me zoom in as best as I can here. So if you look here, And this is what I'm pointing to. This is what I'm pointing to when I was kind of my brain was understanding the combination. So here's a blue card, right? And this blue card has a slash on it, which means I would do a damage. But right here, you see that there's a red tab. That red tab immediately means that I can play a red card on top of it to combo, and that also has a damage, so I'd be doing 2 damage. If this red card had another tab on it, and I had a card of that color, I could play that card too. So you can build up these big hit combos against an enemy to do really, really well. Your health is your deck. So once the deck, if you're in combat and the deck runs out, you lose the fight. When you lose the fight, the game isn't over, right? You just start back and you lose like some attribute or something, and that's it. Like, there's no death penalty, more or less. I mean, Dan's played it, so he probably can talk more intelligently about it because I just got the demo. But there's no really death suffrage. You just kind of keep going until the game ends, type of deal. And so you saw that in Skyrim, the board game, where there's no really penalty of death. You lose money or something, but that's about it, right? But the card combo is cool. The board's gorgeous. It's built around. It's got some really cool stuff on there for people to use. So the board's beautiful. Locations are easy to traverse. So you can move to connecting locations. You can then draw a card to see what's going to happen, checking out the city or the countryside. You can get into fights. You can build those things up, and then your attributes, you get to kind of tweak those as you get stronger and move about the board. And it's a deck builder. I mean, Dan said it best. He says fighting is being deck building. It's a deck builder. So you buy from the market when you have the money, add to your deck, build your deck up, cull cards from your deck, build the combo that you need, and win it. Yeah, so check it out, see if it's something that's for you. For me, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me only because I love sandboxy games. I think they're great. I loved the combo card system, but nothing else sang to me about the game. Like, that was it. The card combat was the thing where I was like, okay, I want to get in a fight because I want to do these card combos. Or I want to go to the market to build those out. But nothing else to me sang to me about the game. Like, I was like, it's okay, but don't not get it because I'm saying it was just okay. It just wasn't it wasn't for me, but I can see the value and the fun that would be in this game for a lot of people. So I think it's worth checking out. It just, after I played the demo, I was like, I'm okay not owning this. And that was me. Base game is a race to 4 trophies, but Legendary Hunt expansion makes it the first to kill the big bad monster. I liked it, but keep the player count to 2 or 3 and add expansions. Okay. I feel you. This didn't fully hit with me either. Was there any kind of solo mode? Dan would be able to answer that, Daniel. Dan, if you know that answer, I don't know. I did not ask if there was going to be a solo mode. I don't see why there couldn't be, right? Because if it's just the 4 trophies, get 4 trophies and you're done. So I don't see why there couldn't be. But I don't know if it's built for that. Like, it might be like kind of a tack-on thing. But Dan can answer that. You'll see. He's probably typing right now to answer it. But yeah, I was just like, this was fun. I'm good. The solo mode in the core is apparently okay. The expansion, the Wild Hunt, is much better. Okay, all right. So this is more of the board, so you can kind of see. So this is the market up here that you would buy your cards from, that you can buy. And the cards can go from free to cost of what's on there to more expensive building out. These are the monsters that are on the board that you get to fight, quests that you can do, city events that you can do. Yeah. The solo mode is a timer. Complete said mission X in X amount of turns, and you're awesome. Do it in Y amount of turns, and you're there. Thanks, Dan. I gotta get this played. The Canje JK, I will, however, be buying the Isofarian guards because of Canje, because Isofarian guards awesome. Yeah, so this one I was okay not owning, but I think if I followed Derek's advice, I'd be up to my neck in Guildford, as you should be. So, but this was a good play. It's just more, it wasn't for me. Okay, so then we took a break. we took a break to kind of sit down and play some games. There's a gentleman that was next to us. There was a gentleman that was right next to us that was playing this game. And so Cynthia and I were like, that looks cool. And Brian was looking over at it as well. And we were like, okay, well, what game is that? And so this game it's called Fuzzies. That's what it's called. It's called Fuzzies. All those fuzzies are semi-sticky, but they all clump together. And they stand on the stand. And basically, it's Tetris. Not Tetris, sorry. It's Jenga. Jenga with fuzzies. And how you play is this is the deck, right? So you move this over and say, okay, well, I need to pull a pink fuzzy and put it on top, above itself, and how it goes. I don't want to talk about it, Brian. So here, Cynthia has to pull a pink fuzzy, right? So she will pull that pink fuzzy out from wherever it is on the board and stack it on top. If the fuzzy doesn't stay and it falls, you have to take that card, flip it over, and put it down. Then she still has to pick up that fuzzy and put it on top. If it falls again, she takes the next color card, flip it over, and stack it. Until she's able to, either the entire fuzzy wall falls, or she finally gets it to stay on top of this area. On the back of these cards are things that you have to do on your next turn, like cover one eye, do elephant fuzzy pickup. There's so many different kind of party game. This is a party game, and there's so many different kind of party game antics that you have to do it as the cards build out, like as they build out to the terrible, and you have to do it all on your next turn, and then you could get rid of the cards and back to the game. At any point, if this fuzzy wall falls, the game's over, like Jenga, right? So, like they reuse some of the game Titan components board. Yeah, so and how did I do? I lost. I made the wall fall the entire time. Brian was strategic. He was putting them in strategic locations and setting things up, and Cynthia was working through it. And I just went in like blah. And I lost so terribly. I was the one for it falling. We played about 2 games, but it was fun. We all clumped together. I did lose so bad. But it was a fun game. So after we watched them play it, Cynthia and I both went and got ourselves... so this is my only purchase from UK Game Expo from the Expo was fuzzies, because it could fit in my suitcase and I could bring it back. So it was fine. She bought it as well for her group. But that's a fun game. It's like one of those things where it's... you don't have to think too much. It's just a good time, and you get a ton of laughs as you're playing. So the next day, I had to go have lunch with this guy. And I think this was the last day. of the Expo. All this was over the span of the entire Expo that you're seeing different pictures. That's why you saw me in different shirts. But... sat down. This was the end. No, this was the end of the day. This was the end of the day before we this was the end of Saturday, where we sat around and we're just chatting and hanging out and having a good time. And then, Cynthia put me next to this guy, so you see how I felt about it. And this was the restaurant that was attached to yeah, Brian had a shirt that said you're playing that game, and then on the back it said, are you dead yet? It's on. I didn't ask them about the gin. Oh, I'd never seen that sign. But yeah, so this is us at the end of the Saturday, just kind of So about my credit card bill, that's me saying I'm not responsible. This is a paid advertisement. Then we went. This was Sunday. Sunday was the closeout day before I got back on the plane to head back, and we went and we played this game called Nemesis Side Quest. This is Cynthia and I played this. This is a escape room game with the Nemesis theme that was done by Board and Dice. Basically, there was a huge box, and we had to solve the mystery and escape before the Nemesis killed us by unsolving these codes and these codex on this board. And once we did that, it unlocked, and we won. The first one was a math one, so Cynthia took that because math. We'd have been there all day for me, okay? So, but Cynthia took on the math one. She solved it. Then we both solved the second one. We both solved the third. And when we got inside the box, there was one to solve. And then we won through. And we actually beat the demo. We beat the demo that they had. But like Cynthia said, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to play this one. It was a good time. Okay. Now you look at these dice. Oh yes, Cynthia. I'm gonna talk about it. So you look at these dice and you say to yourself, Canje must have rolled those dice. Because you have to roll high to be able to do well. You know? You have to be able to get a certain number. And when you get that certain number, you win. So you would roll these dice. And if you're able to get that number, you're good. But these obviously were not them. And you would think to yourself, oh, I rolled those dice. Cynthia kept rolling terribly during this game. This game is Legends Untold. The company, because I have the game there. I can't remember the name of the company that did it, but it was basically you're not heroes. You're just villagers who are walking through a map. And you have certain abilities, but you're walking through a map to try to kill the bad guys, the dungeon crawl, right? And based on these stats that you have to roll a specific number. For attacking, you need to roll an 8, which is the summation of your dice. For defense, a 7, right? The enemy has to roll above a 7 to hit you in this card set, right? So, this is the attack, and the defense is somewhere around here. But if they roll higher than that, they hit you. Inspiring game makes it. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. I bought Fred's copy of Legends Untold. I have them. But if they roll above that number, they hit you. If you roll above the number, you hit them. Just how it goes, right? It's kind of like beating an AC, but you roll 3 dice. And you can get more dice to roll or less dice. You have abilities that can help mitigate the dice rolls. And you determine if you're going to guard or attack during that fight. And then there's zones where the enemy is attacking. They put debuffs on you. It's a typical dungeon crawl, right? But what's cool is what sets it aside is that the theme of it is different. It's not, okay, well, I'm a knight in the King's Guard. It's, no, I'm a villager. I'm a performer. And you get abilities that go along with who you are. And you're like a low-level nobody who has to grow into something good. So I thought that was fun. And this was a good play. Cynthia and I played this one. That's her. I had to take the pictures of the two, so it was just too amazing. The map, you have to enter areas that are well lit, dim lit, or dark. If it's dark, you get better surprise. If it's well lit, they get surprised and ambush you. But there's a risk of running into traps. You don't know what's coming, that type of thing. So you have to build that out. And that's kind of how this plays out. But yeah, this was Legends Untold that we played. I thought Greg was going to be here because I saw him saying that Spire's End was going to be at Expo. So we saw the Spire's End table and went over to check it out. And I asked the guys like, hey, is Greg here? He's like, no, he's not. He didn't make it. But for people who have not heard of this, Spire's End is a story-based card game. This iteration is called Spire's End Hildegard, which is the latest release by Greg Favaro. Basically, what it is you have this massive deck of cards, and you just turn cards over, doing what happens, searching through, splitting those things out, and it's a branching story path. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, there's no replayability to it. I don't think Greg made it to be that way, but I think it is because you start off, you get to choose how you're going to start. You get to choose the path that you're going to play through, and the story unfolds as you roll dice to try to get targets. there are 4 chapters to the base game that you get, which is what you see here. So he's playing chapter 1. So chapter 1, this is Hildegard. This is her sister if you're playing 2-player. So you can play solo or you can play 2-player. She's trying to get a package to someplace, and this is her weapon. And so you're trying to, that's basically building it out. This is the encounter board and all that other stuff. But this game is not complicated. It's a small footprint. You could take it with you and travel and just have a good time with it. I think Greg did a great job on this. I think I love Spire's End, the original game. I think he did a great job on that. And for people who are pooing on this game, my response, shut up. It's a fun game. Go make your own if you don't like it. But I think it's a fun game. I know he put a lot of love into this. I support indie devs, so I played it. I like it. I've played it on the channel. I've played Spire's End on the channel, and I think it's a great game. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. I'm not going to say that it's for everybody. It's not for everyone. What annoys me is when someone poos on it and haven't fully played it or thinks that game development's easy, right? Anyway, I could go on a tirade on that, but that is Greg's baby, and it is I enjoy it. I think it's a good game, and I support him on that. Okay, my sleeper hit for UK Game Expo, my sleeper hit for this is this game, War of the Worlds One More Day. It is coming to Kickstarter soon. The gentleman who created it, just straight up nicest guy. But this is great. This is really, this game was more fun, and Cynthia could talk about it too. This game was more fun than I thought it was going to be. Like, when I passed by, I saw the board and I was like, the map looks a little much. There's a lot of cards. This looks convoluted. It might not be that great. And that was the thing. Like, this dev he was off in a corner. He was off like at the back of the expo in the small corner between like this plushy stuff and this other lady who was selling like Celtic, and you know, like where you buy the horns and the mugs and all that other stuff. Like there he was. And as you can see, even up in the top corner next to chess, right? So he was off in this corner, just kind of like at the back of the expo, just sitting there. And Cynthia was like, hey, this looks cool. So I'm looking at the card stuff, and I'm being snobby. I will full well own that. I'm like, the cards don't look that great. It looks like it was printed at home. It doesn't look to be that big of a deal. But she is smarter than me, right? Cynthia's smarter than me. So she just said, no, let's stop. I want to check it out. It's on my list. Let's go check it out. We sat down to play it. We got a time. We sat down to play it. And my God, this game is fun. This game is so fun. So the purpose, I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't think this game was going to be great. This game is fun. So, so let me explain this game to you. So this game is called War of the Worlds One More Day. You have this takes place. This is the War of the Worlds like alien invasion from H.G. Wells, but it takes place in Victorian time. And you are not a military person. You are a civilian while this is all occurring around you, right? Sounds similar to plenty of games that you've played in different themes. The pools that you have here is your intuition pool, your stamina pool, your shillings or how much money that you have, your character, your hope, and your health. If hope falls to 0, you lose. If health falls to 0, you lose. These on this left side are locations. So every time you go if you have a cold, you so basically the story of War of the Worlds is happening around you and you have to survive it. So every time you go to a new location, you grab that deck, and that becomes the deck of events and things that you use. After you leave that location, you put that deck back, and then you grab the next deck at the new location and put that out. So your decks are always changing based on where you're doing. But when you're there, you're dealing with events. that are happening at that location. You're dealing with quests at that location, and then you have to try to get out. Yeah, for all the decks out there, it flows really well. Yeah, yep. This is Cynthia's exactly right. Like, this is my sleeper hit of UK Game Expo. Like, y'all watch for this game. I believe he said he's still tweaking the cards. As you can see, he printed them at home and sent them. There's the art still being worked on. A lot of things are getting shifted, and so he's still trying to price out how, if he wants to do this mat. This is just his mat that he made, that he got made for the UK Game Expo. He's still trying to figure out how he's going to do shipping. So it's very early stages, but it's still so complete for it to be in early stages. There are companies, very well-established companies, that don't have this level of already ready to play build out that this guy had, and they go to Kickstarter. But he's saying he's waiting to get a little bit more complete in terms of tweaking and setting things up, and then he's going to go to Kickstarter, which will help fund the graphics, and then he'll get it printed. The events feel realistic and thematic as well. So this is what Shadow Rift should have been. But it was, as we were going through, there were like alien monsters that like the ships that attacked us, and we can put damage on them based on the cards. So how this works is you have a hand of cards. This is the survivor's hand, and this is your card deck here in discard pile. You draw 5 cards, and then you use those cards to do things. Like all of it, there is no dice rolling in this game. No dice rolling. Everything is based on the cards in your hand, how you play those cards. Those cards can give you shillings, they can give you stamina, they can allow you to put intuition on a quest that you're building out, because every location that you go to has this overall quest set that like this overall quest that you're trying to do to survive. And when you get there and you get to the event phase, you pull these event cards off, and like this one is an old-time newspaper, right? London town type of deal. So this is an old-time newspaper. This right here that you see, if you can see my mouse, this is an immediate effect that happens. Discard 1 survivor card. So automatically, as soon as that event happens, you lose that card. Then it says, here's what happens next. So this is the immediate effect, and then this is what continues going. Another event, which says, as you can see, the card is very, very beginner stages set of things. And then he was like, yes, he's going to blow up this tiny text, because that's what I told him. I said, this is an amazing game. I told him I want to feature it on the channel. If you can get me a copy of this, I will play it on the channel and promote you, because this is fun. This is what solo gaming is all about. And we played 2-player because Cynthia and I just sat down and we talked to each other as we're playing this game. So we're saying, well, should we do this? Should we do this? But it's a solo game, right? You can play completely solo and it's fine. So the event, you read this tiny text, but he said, I told him, if you want this to be, I told him, if you want this to be big, don't do this. I'm old, I'm blind. Please don't blow it up bigger. So he said, yes, he plans on making the text super huge, so that people can see it. So when this alien attacks, you can lose 4 health and lose a hope if it attacks you. But this is its health that's over here that you can see, because I told him, about color blindness and how much damage to put on it. So as you're moving through the world, events are happening. You have an overall arching quest to go through, and you're playing your survivor's hand to play through the story. Yeah. I was thinking about this game throughout the rest of the con as after we played it. Cynthia did a great recommendation. She saw this and she was like, I want to come back and check it out. We came back and checked it out, and this is the sleeper hit of UK Game Expo. The War of the Worlds, One More Day. I'm telling you, don't sleep on it. When it hits Kickstarter, check it out. I don't remember. I think you discard your whole hand and draw a new 5. I don't think you keep it, and you won't. Like, that was the thing. We were coming up with combinations for these cards. I think there were some cards that we did get to keep, but others we had to discard as they built up. If you acquire cards, do they go to discard or options to get directly? If you acquire cards from the market, which is what's over here, these are the cards from the market, they go into your deck. They go into your deck as you get them. So he may, once again, he says he's still tweaking mechanics and stuff. It's finely tuned for what it is. Like he never said, oh, I didn't think of that, or he never said, oh, I can't, I'll have to add that. The feedback that he got was more on design and than mechanics. Every mechanic seemed really well done. So I would be very surprised if he switches this to say put it in the discard pile. But if he does, he does. And then but you take a while to get through your deck, so it gets shuffled into your deck when you get it. But yeah, there are areas on this board. So for instance, this one way ahead blocked, so I could not travel to this location because it's blocked. So the story, the overall story of the game that you're trying to get through affects the locations that you can go to, affects the events that you can take on in the specific locations, and then deals with and before I forget, the reason why I want to bring this up is he said that right now, and this is why I took this picture, right now for what he had, there's infantry, which one side is male, one side's female. He had 2 cards, and I told him, I was like, just put them on both sides. People, save yourself some money. People will be okay with that. But he's going with either you're going to be male or female on either side. But there's the infantry, there's the journalist. Everyone has a story. So the journalist is trying to print. We played as a journalist, and the journalist was trying to get to the main press what was happening with the aliens. That was our job to do. The infantry person, I can't remember what he said it was, but he said each character is going to come with their own main quest that they have to do. So it's not going to be, oh, I'm an infantry person, I'm trying to get to the printing press. No, the journalist track does that. The infantry track has another. And he said that there's 3 other classes that are in there that are going to have their own unique story, main quest story, while the locations will kind of be the shuffle and keep going deal. So this is the sleeper hit of UK Game Expo. I'm for people who, and it's 100% soloable. 100%. So for people who are into solo gaming and into building this out, keep your eye on it. I know when I talked to him, he had said that he would. From how he had the game set up. Yeah, and there are generic stories too. Yeah, so if you want to make it not the same, but each one will have their own story. Soloable or solo only? From what we played, I believe it's solo only. But I would not be surprised from what he had set up. I wouldn't be surprised if he said that you could play 2-player. I would not go higher than 2-player on this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if he said 2-player. But it's from how he had us playing, we were playing solo only. I do want a gigantic tripod miniature the size of Galactus. Board mechanics look similar to Shadow Rift, but sounds great for the theme. Yeah, it's a sleeper hit. I could see a but it would be co-op us talking. Like Cynthia and I played co-op, but we talked to each other about building this out. But yeah, like you said, I don't see this game going above 2-player at all. I think it would become too convoluted. I think it's tweaked to be soloable, and it is sleeper hit of UK Game Expo. If you see this game, and the cards are like this, don't be like, and forget about it. Check this game out. I'm so glad Cynthia was like, let's go back and check this out. All right, let's talk about Dagger. So, we came back and we got a demo of Dagger. So we actually played. I played as Iron Man. I rolled terribly this entire game. The team did well. The team did fabulous. I was horrible. Anyway, this game is, so we'll get back in. So I took a picture of this board so I can explain what these things are. This game is Eldritch Horror. with a Marvel theme on it. You have different aspects that you can be as a hero. I mean, if you've played Marvel Champions, they're your aspects. That's what it is. Red, green, blue, and yellow. When you get those aspects, that gives you each heroic aspect gives you an ability, an innate ability. So add 1 success to each of your defy actions. Cynthia, if you don't mind, please. So if I do a defy action, which is this, basically defy means put progress on a mission. That's what defy means. So you have all these boards here. You have three of these. You have 2 regular actions, and then this is what's called a boost action. So each character gets two regular actions and a boost action, and each turn, every character does 1 thing a turn. So you could do 1 thing a turn, like move and then fight, or move and then do this, but you can't play all 3 of these at the same time. So our character's health was Iron Man. It's 5 on the other side of this is War Machine, and I'll explain what that means. But 5 health Tony has. This is how much dice he rolls. So he'll roll 2 for attacking, 2 for defying, and 3 for tactical. Tactical's like recovering and charging, but I'll get to that in a second. His card also has these abilities. He has Mach 10, which says perform your move action, increase its move by 1. That's if I do a regular action. If I do a boost action, then I will get my regular action plus the thing down here that says boost on it. So this would be, okay, well, I'm going to play the boost action. So it says perform your move action and increase its move value by 1. So automatically you only move 1 space. Everybody moves 1 space, so I'd be moving 2. When I boost, it says increase its move value by 3 instead. So instead of moving 2, I get to move 4. Right? 4 spaces. So that's Tony's Mach 10 fly across the screen fast. He's got this action called Omnibeam. So test tactical, roll 3 dice, and when you roll the dice just have these symbols on them, and so they're the verbiage, the symbology on it is pretty prevalent. So if you roll this symbol, that means that you get a success on an attack. If you roll this symbol, that means you get a success on a defy. And if you roll this symbol, you get that means you get a success on a tactical. So all the dice are the same. There's no different dice. I'm going to roll, so it says test tactical. So I would roll 3 dice, and every symbol that came up like this would be a success. Deal damage equal to successes to a nearby primed enemy. A primed enemy is an enemy that you're focusing, that everyone says is the focus. There are characters who can prime enemies, who can say this enemy will be primed. So the combo is Cynthia, who is using Black Widow, would prime the enemy and then end her turn, and then I would use Omnibeam. So it's building up the combos between characters. It's not one character, you stay focused on one character, and that's it. You team up. If I were to play this with my boost ability, it would say roll 1 additional die and treat all attack symbols, so this symbol, result as a success. So I get to do a little bit more damage. That's if I play a boost action there. Is this making sense yet? The energy shield, while there is an aspect token on energy shield, reduce all damage you suffer by 1. So that's a regular. If I play my boost action on that, then charge 2. What charge means is I gain, charge could be recharging, gaining health, that type of thing, getting actions back, however they have it set up, right, for each character. These are the innate abilities of the aspect of justice. So you have a character, and then you get to choose what aspect they're going to be, and that comes with abilities. So their move, this aspect of justice move, is way weaker than Tony's, but you could do it twice, right? So one turn you could play 1 here to move, and then the next turn you could play again to move. So these circles are where you put to tell you how many times you can do something if you have the actions to do them. I could attack twice. I could defy twice. I can rest twice, and rest lets you recover health and lets you charge up abilities. That's what that means. So that makes sense. And if you are ever defeated, so in Eldritch Horror, It's a very long game because if your investigator dies, you flip over the card and then you get a new investigator and you keep playing the game. With Eldritch Horror, the game only ends if either you beat the game or the big bad summons into the world and everybody dies. That's how that goes. In this game, when you are defeated, you flip over. Iron Man will flip to War Machine's side, and your aspect will flip to kind of damage, which is a reduced state, and you are now War Machine. If War Machine dies, you lose. Right? There's no get another hero. That's it. You just get 2 heroes. When they're gone for good. This is your mission card, a heroic mission. So this is Iron Man specific mission. The thing that I did not like about this game is that you can only do 1 mission at a time. Like, if you say, let's say we're playing 4-player, there's the Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, and Black Widow, which was what the demo was. If I'm like, okay, well, I want to do my heroic mission and to gain my super awesome ability. If Black Widow is doing their mission, I can't until her mission is completed. And when her mission's completed, then I can say, okay, now Iron Man can start his mission. So you could be so far in that all the heroes haven't even begun their missions yet. So they are not innate if you have to dedicate an action on it. This is the innate, the aspect. The aspect is innate. So the heroic aspect gives you an innate ability, but the rest of these, yes, you have to dedicate actions to it. Okay, so once you've completed your mission, you then can flip over this card, and that is your permanent, super awesome power that you get to use for the rest of the game. You get these 2 abilities that you can use. So Stark Industries. So let me zoom in here, see if it'll clear up any. So Rescue. When you or a nearby hero suffers damage, you may exhaust this card to prevent 2 of that damage. After you do that, you flip that card over, and that card has a recharge effect. Right. So remember down here where we said charge 2, charge 1. This is how you get these back. So it's not a 1 and then you're done for the rest of the game. It's 1 and then it's disabled until you charge to be able to flip it back over and use it again. And these are things that you can use at any time during your turn. This one is an interrupt. So when you or a nearby hero would suffer damage. So on the villain's turn, you can use this. But after any hero rolls dice, you may exhaust this card, add 2 tactical results to it. So if they're doing tactical and they're... and this is any location, I can exhaust this on their turn to be able to say, okay, I'm going to give you 2 results to it. Enjoy. And then I'd have to charge. I'd have to get charges up to be able to flip it back over to get the ability back. This Iron Legion card, I love this card. So this card says, at the start of the hero phase, you may exhaust this card to treat all heroes' actions as if they were boosted during this hero phase. So during this hero phase, I made sure that any ability anybody used was always boosted. And when you use that, you flip it over. Now, you don't charge to get this ability back. That's not what comes back. Teamwork gets this ability back. You can get it back, but it's a teamwork endeavor. Let me see if I have the board. Yes. So teamwork is this track that you get here, right? This is the track of teamwork. As you progress through the game, you will use abilities or do things that build this track up. Everybody has access to this track. This is a shared track. My ability that you saw before, this one here of Iron Legion, when I use it, I'd flip it over and it would say 5 team up. So that means that I would have, if this thing was on 5, I can immediately spend all of it to flip that card back over and get it back to use. But what that means is that team up, so like Thor had the Bifrost. And what he could do is he can drop the Bifrost anywhere he wanted, which is this lovely little circle thing that you see here. And he could drop it anywhere, which allows us to teleport to Asgard, right? So once he uses that ability, he then flips it over, but he can't get it back unless he uses team up to get it back. So this track kind of has a push-pull mechanic of saying, okay, who has the best ability for me to use, and how can I how can I make best use of it? I think this track is cool. I don't recall anything like this in Eldritch Horror, so this is different from what you see from what Eldritch Horror was, but I think this was a really great implementation to build up all that teamwork on your character cards. I think this is cool. I was wondering what that sun with the projected shape was between Iron Man's legs. Thanks for zooming in. Now I can see it's a standee. Was it on a previous picture? Oh, yeah. It's a standee. So this is their standee, right? That's the standee for Iron Man that we were using. But it won't let me do the dice. Okay, so when you start, so the threat track is just like Eldritch Horror. Once it hits 20, you lose. The locations, unlike in Eldritch Horror, you would go to locations and you can use an action to use their ability instead of saying, I need to draw from this deck because I'm in Arkham. Now there's none of that. There is, you go to this the location and you use an action to use their ability, and you use that ability. So here, the Iliad, if anything's in that location, I can use an action to deal 1 damage. It's just how it goes. Wakanda, empower a hero. Empowering means that you get to roll an extra die, I believe, when it's your turn. And you can hinder or empower. This is the mission deck slots. So you can have 3 regular missions going at once, and these missions hit hard. They are the mythos. They are the mythos cards that you have to put progress on, or they will do terrible things to you every single round when activated. That's what those missions are. So just think mythos. And then the last slot that's down here is for 1 hero mission. I'm not a fan of that. I wish they could have done something a little bit different, because I hate the idea of, okay, well, Thor has this ability that he's trying to get going on his mission. And let's say it says, okay, he needs 7 teamwork on it. So, okay, we're trying to get teamwork, but in the meantime, rounds and rounds have passed through of this game, and I can't do my mission until he completes his. I don't like that. Like, that was one thing where I said, I might have to house rule that a little bit. Maybe we might do double the progress or something. I don't know, but I don't like that. The nemesis is, for who we fought, was Loki. Here's another thing. They tried to explain this on this live stream that they did, but for some strange reason, my brain, it didn't sink into my brain how this thing's set up. So you flip over a nemesis card, mythos card, right? You flip one over, and it has symbols on it, and based on those symbols is what Loki will do. And Loki's job to defeat us is to basically destroy all these cities. If he can destroy them all, we lose the game. If the threat track goes to full, we lose the game. So every turn, an ability would activate. But the Mythos card also lets him do stuff. So how do you prevent that? You can KO Loki. You can immediately off the bat, you could go fight him and punch him in the face. And the symbol that you see on this card over here, which is like the circle with the lightning through it, that's the KO symbol. We constantly, every round, had to keep knocking him out to stop him from doing something terrible. However, the Mythos card, or the Nemesis card, whatever you want to call it, would still let him do stuff. And that didn't make sense to me, because it's like, okay, if he was active, it would mean that the symbols would let him do some form of mischief throughout play. And it's not like, okay, he just has a lightning bolt and that's it. He would do multiple things on his turn. He would move, he would attack, he would do all these different things based on the amount of symbols on the Nemesis card. But there's also text that let him do something else. And whether he's knocked out or not, he still does that thing. And that was where I was like, that seems broken to me, because it's like, okay, I have to spend, we have 3 actions each. We have a mission to complete to try to progress through all these missions to win the game. And even with that, and personal missions and missions that are sitting out, I have to spend actions to KO him. He is not a slouch. He is very strong. But I have to, we all have to spend actions to KO him. And at the end of the day, he still gets to activate. And that confused me. I was like, this doesn't make sense, right? So that was something that had me be like, sure. And that was a major thing that gave me pause on the game. But everything else built around it was fine. These, of course, these are the summons. I agree. When I am unconscious, passed out on my overform actions. Well, so Matthew, it says that you would, basically what happens when you KO him and how that works is that you ignore the symbols. So he wouldn't activate these things, but the card can still let him do something, right? Which is why my wish was, if we KO him, I'm fine with it being a temporary thing where he can't activate. But to me, the Mythos card should do something else, like bring in a henchman, right? Bring in Enchantress, bring in something else that is affecting the world that makes it harder for us to do things other than activate him. And that's where I was like, it doesn't make sense thematically, but sure. You have these specific henchmen or enemies that come with him. They're just they're mobs. They're just cannon fodder, but they get in the way. Think of it as the card was a prepared action, and the symbols are real-time actions. I like I said, I get it, but it just didn't feel thematic, though. You know what I mean? Like, but I get what they're trying to do. I just wish they would have done something else. Like, if Loki is not KO'd, do this, else do this. And that thing has nothing to do with Loki. Like, otherwise it just feels like I'm punching him for no gain. Oh yeah, he won't be able to activate 2 of his symbols or 3 of his symbols, but do something else, right? The henchmen that come out, they're like in Eldritch Horror, where they pop out and they do different things, right? Remember in Eldritch Horror, one just sits there and camps in an area, another one hunts you, another one does something to the board, another one moves up threat, removes progress from missions. They all do different things, so that's their purpose, and then you want to go take those out for the ones that would be really annoying. But that is Dagger. I mean, so this is, she played Black Widow and I played Iron Man, and Cynthia had the game down, right? Brian should be amazing. Like he was just taking photos and watching us play, but she had the game down. She was like, yes, I'm going to move here. I'm going to prime this person and opening up for you to attack. Ooh, I'm going to give you an ability. Okay, I'm going to stun this character. And so she was, after a few rounds, she just had the flow and she was just playing with it and rolling these dice. She was rolling well. The other people at the table were rolling well. I did not get a single hit as Iron Man. I didn't do anything. I rolled terribly the entire time. And there is no mitigation. That's a lot. There's one where I think I had one ability that I had to use an action on to let me reroll 1 die. But as you can see here, I did 2 move actions here. One was boosted, one wasn't. She did a boosted action down here and then a regular action, and she had an action left. I had an action left. I had taken a damage. These are the boost and hinder sets. This is the progress. This is the damage tokens. And you just basically play through the game until either you win or lose. And this is us intently listening to like the demo guide because we were having fun while playing it. I took on a look at it and lost. I took one look at it and lost the will to live. The game, not her face. I can get a sense of that by the look on your faces. No, it was more we were planning, we were listening, and I think the demo guys, who's Brian's behind, who took the picture, was explaining to us like what could work, why it wouldn't work, and the look on my face was just more I like this game. I'm gonna home rule some of this game, but I like this game. Thursday for Greyport, a friend of mine kept rolling 1s and 2s on damage. We eventually gave him another die, nor from the box, and he got a 5. We still won. Good times. Yeah. There's very little dice manipulation in this game, so what you roll is what you roll, and you just got to deal with it. It's the same thing with Eldritch Horror, right? 5s and 6s were success on there. They got rid of the 5 and 6 successes, and they've just put symbols on the die for you to use, which I'm very happy about. This was us getting ready. This was us setting up to get ready to sit down, and Cynthia took the picture. But this is how it was set up around the board. It has a table presence. It's not as big as Eldritch Horror, and how the demo individual said the game is that he said the game is supposed to be a short version of Eldritch Horror, very quick to set up and very quick to play, and that's it. You're done. It's not going to run Eldritch Horror times. It's going to be a lot. It's just going to be regular board game length. That was Dagger. Yeah, so I showed you here. This is one. So this is the mission, and you need 1 progress. So 1 progress per player. And if it comes to fruition, I believe it boosts up the threat track by that much. So that's kind of how this goes. And it says, when an enemy is defeated, place progress on this mission equal to its power. So the power to be placed for 1 player is 10, 2 player 12, 3 player 15, I believe. When this mission is completed, spawn a side mission. If this mission was failed, the heroes also choose 1 base to be overrun. Overrun means destroyed. You can't use its ability anymore. And that's the setup. Yeah. This game doesn't look like much presence. It's interesting. You say it does have 1 when in person. Yeah, it's okay. It's like I said, it's supposed to be lightweight. It's not supposed to have a deep presence. But it's still. I don't know how I feel about it. I pre-ordered the game when they announced Dagger, and they said it was like Eldritch Horror. I pre-ordered it. Right? Because it's like, I love Eldritch Horror. I own all of Eldritch Horror. Thanks, Cynthia. But I own all of Eldritch Horror. But so I pre-ordered it because it's like Marvel theme Eldritch Horror. It's going to be fun. After playing this, I was like, there will be 0 gray area for people with this game. It's either you will like it or you will not like it at all. I don't know how I feel about it because I need to play more of it. I just saw what was on the demo, and the person in the demo may have made some mistakes because they weren't from Asmodee. They were just I remember the day 1 we got, they were reading through the book to try to learn the rules of the game so they could demo it. And it was, I just need to play it some more to draw a proper thought on it, but there were things on the game that I thought were really cool and meshed well together. The teamwork aspect is a great track in addition to the game. And then there were things that I was like, eh. So when it arrives, I'll give it a couple plays. Stream it, of course. You know, we all play games together here. And so see what I think of it and give my thoughts then. This was a side mission that I didn't have my glasses on when I took the picture, so it's blurry. This is what I saw. I should have waited. Then I got closer. Okay, so you see here where it's like energy to charge. So if I charged, I would need to charge 3 on this card to flip it back over. That's the reason why I took that. Got a closer look at Iron Legion. So the art comes from the comics as usual, as you know. And then when you flip it over, after you used Iron Legion, it said spend 8 team up to ready this card by flipping it to its other side. So I would have to spend 8 team up of that 10 team up track to be able to flip Iron Legion back over to use it again. So the teamwork could be 1 round, I flip this so people can be boosted, we complete a bunch of stuff to get up to 8 teamwork, and then I spend that 8 to flip it back over to use it again next round. Now that's a hard thing to do, but it's potentially possible as you play the game. There's no for comparison of Eldritch Horror, in Eldritch Horror they had that big deck of items that you could find. That doesn't exist here. You come in with what you got and you play your mission and get your ultimate ability, and then you continue on the game. I did not see a deck of items that you can add to yourself. Closer of Iron Man, but I already showed that. Okay. So let's talk about why I'm playing this game tomorrow. So we sat down for lunch, and Cynthia said, I'm going to teach you how to play Hadrian's Wall. She's like, you are going to play Hadrian's Wall when you get here. Deal with it. So we sat down to play Hadrian's Wall, and she was doing setup and getting everything going. And I love this game. Damn it. So much so that when I got back, I immediately purchased it, and I have it, and I'll be playing it tomorrow, right? I've never encountered a game like this. So I went Googling, and a few people were saying that this game isn't a Euro. So I'm curious as to why it's not, if anyone knows or can shed some light on that for me to help me understand why it's not a Euro. It's a worker placement game with scoring. How is it not a Euro? There's no dice. There's no cards. It's just, well, there are cards, but there's no dice, and it's just this. So I guess I don't understand how it's not. 1. 2, I want to know of other games that are like this game in the same vein. We played it when she first put these 2 sheets of paper in front of me. I was like, so much stuff, so much things. I don't understand why. And then as we played the game, I saw why, and I was like, this game is awesome. So Hadrian's Wall honestly, it's a multiplayer solo game. You're playing solitaire multiplayer style, but it's just so good. Does it refer to scoring as VP? If not, then doesn't meet the requirements. I don't think I think they just call it your score. I don't think they call it your victory points. But it's so good. Like, I did not expect that type of gameplay in a game like this. I didn't see it coming, because I think Cynthia didn't tell me. Somebody else, I can't remember who, it might have been Mike, I can't remember, but somebody else, one of my Patreons, told me that I should try Hadrian's Wall. And I was like, cool. And I looked at it, and the pictures were of these 2 sheets of paper, and my brain was like, no, why? What is all of this? It makes no sense. And so she sat down, and she took it, probably, Cynthia, correct me if I'm wrong, it probably took about 5 minutes for you to just get me with the basics. And then she's like, you'll see how it changes as you play. So she knows exactly how my brain works. And it's more you could talk to me all day long until I play it, or until I play it, nothing's going to stick. So spent about 5 minutes saying, here's what we're trying to accomplish. Here's what these sections mean, these things. Let's play the game. And so we started playing, and as I saw, I was like, oh, this would do this. And she's like, yep, so you get one of these, and then you get this color, and then you get this person, and then you build this up, and you get this wall. And as these combos started coming together, I started getting deeper and deeper into the game, and I was like, okay. And the one thing that threw me, it wasn't until yesterday that it clicked, was these chains at the bottom. Because I was like, so here's this chain that's here that goes up to the seppi. But so is it saying that I can't go past this building the wall because this chain cuts through until I build the seppi? And it just wasn't making sense. And then it's like, okay, well, you start off here. This is a flag for building for 1, which is the tech tree. 2 has one. 3 has one. 4 has one. So they all have them set, but they're all spaced out. So can I not build the wall until... And then there's this sectional divider. And this is my first play, so my brain is stuck on this stuff, short-circuiting. And so she was helping me get through all of these to build these things out. And then it clicked. And since then, it was like, okay, got it. And so when I first played, my score was super low because I was just learning. The second time I played it, I bought the game. I was playing it by myself to learn it, and my score was like 80. And I was like, okay, I got 80 on the game. Cool. I don't know what that means. Obviously, I played it wrong because after she explained to me about the shifting of the different sections of the wall, everything made sense. And then my score was like 30. And so I told Cynthia, I said, a lot of things change when you get the rules right. You actually score properly. So it made sense. Because Hadrian's is within 2... She's not there on territory. The history of the city of Hadrian has gone back for centuries. They have walled for... I don't follow that one. Okay, so you want to know of other combo exploding games or other games that have a look that makes you think you don't want to torture yourself with them? I want to know of Euros that are like this, right? It doesn't need to be exactly like Hadrian's Wall, but yeah, that combo exploding system. I want to know that. Like that worker placement combo exploding system that is really easy to get into. That's what I want to know. Like what games are like that. So I think it's I definitely think that this combo system made the game so cool. If you don't know, I will be playing this game tomorrow on the channel, so I will explain exactly how it works, and Cynthia will probably be there just to make sure I don't make any mistakes, but it's just more, it's a lot of, this is a fun game. So this is her kind of explaining the board out to me and breaking things down, and you see that look on my face of, what? Tiletum, I might have to write those, let me write those down. So if you got them, yeah, I'm gonna make a note of these real quick. Tiletum and Praga. All right, I'm gonna write those down and check them out. Thanks, Martin. But if you, yeah, keep them coming. I really like this theme. I think it's fun. Well, she says that she's beaten the entire campaign of the game. Tiletum, definitely. Okay, I'll check out Tiletum to see what it's like. I'm curious. I really enjoyed this theme. I thought it was fun. This is her game. She purchased this one. I looked at Woodcraft. I probably need to go back and look at it, honestly. Because when I looked at Woodcraft, Totally Tabled did a playthrough of Woodcraft. If y'all don't... So there's a lot of people out there and a lot of things going on about trying to, you know, I need that there are people who want high quality recorded content and streams. You got Meet Me at the Table. You've got the One Co-op Shop stream channel who do high quality. You know, you've got all these other groups, Rob's Gaming Table, all that does this high quality streaming stuff. One person who has a ton of followers, but not a lot of people know about him, is Totally Tabled. The man's voice, presence, content, just all around of his streams are amazing. Just check him out. Totally Tabled. It's amazing. It's really well done. He does really good work. So I would just say, give him a check, give him a watch. He doesn't do live content. Everything's recorded. But his lighting, his lighting, the set that he has, his presence on there, and just all the different things that he has going, the guy's top notch. All right, I'm gonna check out Woodcraft. I think you're just looking for engine building games. The problem though is, so So while I was there, Cynthia was talking about, she really loved Hadrian's Wall. This is one of her favorite games. And I told her, if you like this game, we need to go to the Mind Clash booth. And we did. And I showed her, they had Tricarian, they had Anachrony, they had Astra that was out at demo. So they didn't have Voidfall and they didn't have Perseverance set out for anybody to see, but they had those 3 games that were there to set up. So well, no. I have Perseverance and I bought Tricarian. So Tricarian's on the way. So I told her, if you like these games, you may like Mind Clash, because I've heard nothing but good things from my Mind Clash games players. Like, people who, anytime I've said, hey, have you played any Mind Clash games, or someone is talking about Mind Clash, it's in a positive light. Now, that I'm sure that doesn't mean that everybody loves a Mind Clash game. There might be people who don't like that theme or anything, but every time I've heard someone talk about a Mind Clash game, it was with a positive spin. And I've watched them, their boards look just like this. Their boards look just like this, but people love their mechanics. And I think David Turksey does their solo modes, I believe. But it's they love their themes. So we went by and I showed her Tricarian, and it looks like, from what Brian just said, is that she purchased Tricarian. So I purchased Tricarian when I got back here as well. So it's going to be delivered here from Mind Clash. I have Perseverance, which Mike has been trying to get me to play forever. And so I have it over there on the shelf, still in shrink, but I plan to play it on the channel so y'all can see that game as well. I'm not interested in Anachrony so much. I think it's more, I hear that it's a solid game, but I think the theme doesn't really, I don't like the theme of it, the time travel-y theme set of it. So that's why I stayed away from there. They have Cerebria, and then there's another one where you are witches making a potion or something. I can't remember what. Septima. And they have Septima. So they have a lot of titles out there that is in that favor, that every single game seems to be a hit with a large group of people. Even if it's not the same people, it's a large group of people where the hits are. Let's see. Let's see, what do we got? Same lane as Hadrian's Wall is Paladins of the West Kingdom and Legacy of You, solo only. So I need to get more insight. Martin, we gotta chat. I need to get more insight into that Paladins, Viscounts, all those other names of the 10 billion games that they have of these types. Because I've checked. When I see those games, I don't see interest in them, but maybe I'm not looking deep enough, right? Like, when I saw this, my eyes bulged and I would have walked away if not for Cynthia making me play it and then me enjoying it. So maybe I need to check them out. They just didn't look interesting, but I need to know more. I don't know enough about Paladins and all those other things. I used to own Anachrony. I still have Cerebria, which I'm trying to grok, but they're really not easy to get into for me and my mind structure. Okay. Tell me more about that. I'm looking forward to you playing the game. I'll be sober because I'm going to JCPenney's to buy new clothes for Gen Con. How embarrassing. Okay. Yeah, no problem. PM me on Discord. Okay, all right. Based on what I know about UKGE, Scholars of the South Tigris, when it comes out, is more your style. So are they different variants, or are they completely different games? So let me write that down. Scholars of the South Tigris. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. I really enjoyed this game, and I would love to play more of it. I just, my thing is I want to see all the different ones that are out there. Okay, I'll check that out. One unknown for most is Fantastic Factories. Upcoming Rising Robots. Looks like same ilk. Fantastic Factories. I am going to check all these out, so whatever y'all are listing, it's not going off into the ether. I'm going to be checking all these out. Paladins is awesome. All right, I'll have to check those out. Yawn. I just don't have a mind. It makes like Brian. Different games from Garb Hill with different mechanics. Okay. Message me on Discord, Martin. Message me and let's chat about it, because I'm super curious about the differences and where it would fall for me. Did you try It's a Wonderful? Yes, I did not like it. I did not like It's a Wonderful World. There are people who love that game. It just and it's not like, oh, this one thing or the entire game was just, as I was playing it, I was thinking about other games. Like that's how I was bored with it. Like I was just thinking about other games. I tried though. West Kingdom series has no dice. South Tigris is meeple, dice placement, dice selection. Ooh. I like dice placement games. I really do. I just need to know more. Yeah, I need to know more. So anyway, I'll be playing this tomorrow because of this. I want you to see that Brian captured in a shot Cynthia selling me a board game. In this shot, this is her selling me a board game. And then I got to meet this guy. So for the longest time, I've actually, he joined my Patreon as a supporter, and because I've been watching Gaming Rules forever. I've been watching his content for a very long time, and I think Paul's a cool guy. He seems very mellow. He seems very no nonsense, down to business, and wants to have a good time to play the game. So, he actually, when I started streaming Frostpunk, he actually popped on once, and he's like, "Ooh, this is amazing to see some other people playing." He had some, I think he had some input. He didn't write the rule book, but he had some input on the rule book, and so from there, he messaged me on Facebook Messenger, and he and I just kind of chatted from time to time, talking. And I was like, "Yeah, this guy's what he presents. He's very cool. He's very open and a very amazing person." So I was like, "I'm coming to UK Games Expo." The first thing he said is, "Okay, we need to meet up. We need to go play a game together or something. I'll be doing these different things." He's like, "Hey, I'm going to be playing Marrakesh. Do you want to join me for Marrakesh?" He's like, but he said it would be about 3 hours of play. I was like, I'm only there for like 3 days. I don't want to get tied down to 3 hours and I want to walk around and see stuff. I'll be with Cynthia and Brian, so I don't want to have them sitting there for 3 hours while I play a game. So I was like, no, but I'll come by and visit. So the first day we get there, I think he had stepped away for a second from this area when I just happened to walk by, and I didn't see him. And then we saw the Gaming Rules Patreon table that was in the open hall, and I went over there and he wasn't there, so missed him. The second day, he was having a charity event that he was raising money for a really great cause, and we were supposed to go to the charity event, Brian, Cynthia, and myself, but I think we were just kind of wiped out and tired. It was a lot that's going on. My partner wasn't feeling well, so it was just more we had, she had sat out for the entire con. It was just me, Cynthia, and Brian there. So we all went and just said, we're going to miss that one. So I contacted him and said, "Hey, I can't make it. I'm sorry." And he's like, "That sucks. It would have been great if you were there, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine." And so Sunday, the first thing we did when we got there is I came in and I went over here and I met him. And he was teaching Marrakesh to a table full of people. Right? This table was full. Everyone was sitting down. There was not an empty chair, and he was teaching the game. And so I just kind of walked over and waited for a pause for a second, and then he looked over and he was like, "Hey." And then he got up and he was like, "Oh, it's finally glad we get to meet. It's terrible that the expo's ending. We weren't able to meet up. We need to meet up again for another time." And he wants to set something up for us to hang out. And then as we were leaving, he was like, "You need to take a picture of us." Just come on. So he came over and he took a picture with me, and he is just as friendly as he is on his streams. It is not an act. What you see is what you get, and he's an amazing fella. So it was nice to be able to see him. This is GF9 who had. We went over and we looked at Aliens, the board game. We did some playthrough of it and talked about it, and then Star Trek's on the other side. This was the Last of Us section. What you see here is the people who made Escape from the Dark Tower made a Last of Us game, which is just like Escape from the Dark Tower. What do we got? I'm sure Colin would vote for card games with either Arthurian Legends. The name escapes me. Yeah, I don't know that one. Oh, Imperium. I have Imperium Legends. I don't have Imperium Classics. I would love that game. I have it and I'm holding on to it for now only because this game is fantastic. 2-player. Solo mode, like for me it's meh. I don't, but 2-player, I know I would love Imperium. Like 2 to 3, like 2 to 3 players or something. I know this game would be amazing for me. But I can't digest the solo mode. It wouldn't be 3 hours. You would be dead long before. Thank you, Brian. Imperium Classics, Legends, and Horizons, upcoming from Nigel Buckle and David Turksey. Yeah, I know I would love Imperium, but I'm a solo player. And the solo mode, I don't know. I know David made it, and I like a lot of his solo modes. But the solo mode on this one just didn't sync for me. I love Imperium, but it's totally different feel than Hadrian's Wall. Yeah, completely. And the solo mode just it didn't work. Do I have anything else? That's the Star Trek one when we actually played, so you can actually see me. This is me as Borg. So that is Borg happening. That's her crew. And as you can see, like, her crew is getting they've all activated. And I should have a board knockdown character somewhere. But yeah, that's when we got to play. There's the Borg Mini, one of the drones. And those are the minis of, I actually got pretty good shots. This is just my phone camera. It wasn't bad. As you can see how things stack up. Yeah, so assimilation, so rules, assimilate everyone. The mission deck. Okay, Brian, I'm gonna need you to help me with the name of this one. But Brian was walking around, he was looking at paints, he was looking at 3D printers. This is a mini that was printed, that was 3D printed, not painted. And it was 3D printed by the same extruder. So for people who know about 3D printing and how things go out, this was a one-run print. It wasn't print this, switch out this thing, put this in here, switch this out. All of this was done on one printer through one extruder. Look at it! So the cost of this lovely thing, I'll let Brian post that. I'll let Brian post that cost in the chat. So Brian, you can go ahead and do that. It's not cheap, but look at this. This is, and as you can see on here, it's not painted. It's the different colors that were used on these minis are just damn. Just damn. And this is a mini that they print, a resin mini that they printed, even the cube. So they print, all of this was printed in, like, on the printer, even the cube, all of that came up. And so they showed that they could print this clear cube and then print a mini inside it, which was so cool. It is a side company from My Mini Factory. The printer has an extra built-in inkjet. It costs 100,000 euros. It doesn't seem feasible. But it was, I mean, he took a picture and he showed us, but look at this. I tried to get up as close as I can to take a picture where it would show, but all of this is not paint. I mean, like he said, it's an inkjet that's in there that's building, that's coloring the thing as it goes out. But it's not like, okay, they printed the mini gray and somebody painted it. the machine did all of this by itself. It's so damn cool. I thought it was cool. And so they had all these different things. Yeah, so they had all these different minis that they had done that with. All these different minis that they did that with. So now the future of miniature painting, or should I say the future of minis, once they, it's super expensive because it's probably an insane process, but the future of minis is this. It's now I don't have to buy a bunch of paints if I don't want to. I can pay the extra money, they'll chop it in there, and they'll print these things off. Yeah. So the future of board gaming is no longer painting. I'm super happy for that. I'm not gonna lie, but basically, is it a filament or a resin liquid? It's a resin liquid used as a color mixer during the process. It's just, I don't know the details. Brian stood for a long time, and he can talk about the details of this. Like, I don't know the finite details of how they made this possible, right? I just know that it's possible. So you're telling me I've been painting this last 3 hours for nothing? But look at these minis that came off this. I mean, come on. Imagine if you're backing a Kickstarter and there's two options, which that's what they'll do because the mini painting hobby is not going to go away. And Sarastro was at the UK Game Expo as well. But imagine if they offer you a tier that says this is what you'll get, and this, to me, this is the future of that stuff. Did I hit the? Yeah, this is the end. Some minis seem dry brushed, and that doesn't sound very same as printing with ink inside. I'm happy if I can focus on painting. I don't. I'm backing already, and the minis come painted out the box. You've met with Sarastro. Picture. I did not meet with him. I saw him, and I passed by his booth, but I didn't stop because there was a long line of people that wanted to talk to Sarastro. But yeah, I didn't take a picture with him. 15 to 20 per standard mini. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly say that if they need to get this stuff scalable soon, because as soon as somebody else figures out how to do this and mass produce this is the future of minis for Kickstarter, where they'll say we'll print you well, if they ever do standees, because they won't, because people will buy that instead, but they'll say you can get the gray minis or you can get the fully plush minis for this upgraded cost, and a lot of people will pay that extra money to get it done. And I'm sure that once this gets scalable, I just see the future potential of this and how this will kind of really do great for the hobby, but it's going to be at a high price point. No matter what, it's going to be at a high price point. This is better than most people can paint, so I think this is a good idea. I think it colors as it goes, so based by pixel. Yeah, it's going to be expensive to start. It always is. That's the thing, Jan. I think when I think of anything, and I'll my generation saw the rise and fall of CDs, right? In my lifetime, I've seen the introduction of CDs and the death of CDs, and so when a CD player first came out, or when it was being developed, it was stupid expensive. Only rich people can afford it. Only rich people can buy it. Then you saw the price coming down as the mass market manufacturing became better and higher and bigger, that CD players became more affordable, and then everybody had them, and then they fell off. It's the same thing with the electric cars, right? Tesla started as a sports vehicle place. They made sporty cars, because rich people help fund and build and buy those things. And then as Tesla continues throughout its generation, the prices are getting cheaper and cheaper and more affordable for people to get. So it becomes that. That's what I see this as. It's to me, this is commerce 101. That's what I see this. It's going to be for the super rich, and it's going to be super expensive for a while. They're going to learn how to mass market this stuff. The price is going to go down, and then it won't be that bad because it'll be commonplace. This is how commerce works. So I foresee, like as Brian was saying, look how high and how much this thing costs and how crazy it is. And then I probably say, keep looking at that, and you're going to see that price fall. And then you're going to see they'll be able to say, okay, well, we can sell this at retail for a high price, and then that price itself is going to fall. We got mass production of this stuff at high price, and then that price is going to fall. And then you'll see people who, like, come on, probably start buying into these things because they're the mini print champions. So you'll see them start offering these as a high price, and then that's going to fall. So it's just wait it out. If you're like, I can't afford this thing, but I'm willing to wait to see the future. Like, I see the future just from seeing this thing, and I know it's going to be revolutionary. I know it's going to be amazing. I wish I could buy stock in this company or any company that's doing this. I would buy stock today because I know that this is going to blow up. ISS Vanguard had a high price for painted minis. Yeah, sure. I think inks aren't getting cheap tomorrow, but it'll get a bit down for sure. I'd be surprised for less than $10 in your generation too, Ken. I'm in your generation. Yeah. I just want people to have the option of pre-painted or paint yourself. I think they will. I don't think that'll ever go. Painting in the hobby will never go away. It's a hobby in itself. Painting minis is a hobby in itself. So I don't foresee that falling off by any stretch. I think they'll offer gray or painted, and that's what they'll offer. But minis are not widespread consumer products, still niche. Yeah. The tech is industrial. Minis is just a side example. Yeah. So I'm just seeing for in terms of the hobby. If you want me to look grander at the present for the industry, we're already on the cusp of amazing stuff. People are 3D printing houses. That's where we're moving. Where 3D printing becomes Star Trek level, where it just gets amazing. We're moving to that. I just see for the hobby, I see this as a great step. I mean, 3D printing was crazy prices, like less than, yeah, exactly. And now people can, they're still high priced, but they're not, I need to take out a second mortgage on my house high priced. Yep. Architectural models, TV houses. Yep. I've seen a 3D printed house. I've seen a 3D printed bar. Like, so it's moving in the right direction. A $230,000 model from Japan can print for up to 10. Ooh. I would expect games to come with color printed minis. No option, just always. Hobbyists would still go ahead and try to make it better. Yeah. And that's the thing. I see the potential, man. That machine does 10 as well as the clear. Nice. I'm counting on Derek to 3D print my lunch. Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah, this is the end. So after we chatted with this fellow, we then Cynthia and Brian dropped us to. So funny story. So our transportation. Let's start off with that. Our transportation that was going to take us back to Heathrow from Birmingham was leaving at noon. I think we left at 11 o'clock to get to, and the airport is right across from the convention center, so it wasn't far, so I wasn't panicking in my head. I was like, yeah, we got plenty of time, whatnot, we'll get there, we'll get on the train, and we'll get back. So I go to get on the train, and I won my ticket, and it doesn't work. And then I do it again, and it doesn't work. I do it again, and it doesn't work. So the guy comes over and says, hey, what's going on? I say, hey, we're supposed to catch a train for 12 to get there. He's like, there's no 12 o'clock train to Heathrow. Like, what are you talking about? And I said, wait, but I have a ticket here that says it's 12 o'clock. And he was like, yeah, that's a bus ticket. And so he was like, that's a bus ticket. The bus ticket's on the other side of the terminal. Panic mode, right? So I don't know how to get to the other side of the terminal to get to this bus that I'm supposed to take to Heathrow to get on my flight to get back to the States. I don't know where it is. There's no map. I don't know how to get there. So I'm asking people, and the lady, kiosk lady that I asked she was like, go to the airport and go outside. That was her directions on how to get to the bus from where we were. Where's the airport? How do I get to the airport? Anyway. Got to the bus right at we last on the bus to get on the bus, but made it. Got down to Heathrow Airport, got checked in, had about 30 minutes to spare before the flight boarded, got on the plane, came back. Yeah, no, it's not your fault, Brian. I don't know. I think when I was booking it, I went through Trainline. There's an app or a website called Trainline, but Trainline also does buses. But in my head, it was Trainline. It's a train, so you take the train. So when I booked it, it must have been like, okay, only buses are available at this time, and I just was like, it's train. The site says train. It's a train. Sure. So I booked it, but it was a bus instead of a train. So it was my own fault. It was my fault completely. I did not plan that. I did not plan that at all. So therefore, but made it, got back, got on the flight, flew back over, and was jet lagged for an entire week. I kept waking up so early in the morning. It was insane. You get food 3D printed ceramic ones as well. Hey, Barrett, what's going on? Ooh, wow, those are amazing. I know Hero Forge has the option to have them 3D printed in color, but it is stupid expensive, as you said. Sorry, I'm late to the conversation. No worry. How dare you? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. I've been talking for a long time, haven't I? Why do y'all let me talk? I don't know. So, my can we start over? Royalty has arrived. We call Baird royalty. Well, and engineering is a great value being able to print 3D models of buildings, bridges. Who would present the presentation? Yeah. So, how did UK Game Expo go for me? It was fun. The entire trip was fun, and there was a lot of moving around that could have been a lot easier to go, like, to make my life easier, but things didn't fall into place. How that started is I could have flown to Edinburgh. I could have flown in there to their airport and been there, and then take a puddle jumper or whatever we called it to London for a shorter flight, and then take the train over to Birmingham and leave from Birmingham to go back to the US. I could have done these things, but I didn't, and here's why. When I was setting up to go on the trip, which was last year, because I booked early, since airline prices, if anybody's been watching them, are getting exponentially higher and higher and higher. I talked with my brother, and his girlfriend. He was like, okay, we want to go to the UK with you. So we're talking about days and times, and they're like, hey, we're looking at traveling at this time. I said, well, I'm going for UK Game Expo, but let's pad in some time, because this is when you're looking at. Me, being the forward planner that I am, went ahead and booked the tickets at a very, very good rate way early in the year. I think I booked those tickets in January. That's how early it was that I booked them. And so it was, okay, we're going to fly into Heathrow. We're going to be around London, and that's where we're going to sit until UK Game Expo. So flying into London, book tickets for London. If we're going to go anywhere else, it will be around the London, around the southern England area. So that was the plan. Book the tickets for Heathrow. Throughout the months that were going by, did you buy your ticket yet? Did you buy your ticket yet? Did you buy your ticket yet? Their answers were, Not yet. We're waiting on something to come through. We're doing the stuff. We're checking it out. Yes, we're going to book it. It's going to be. And then they were like, okay, we can't go because we're moving to California. So I wasn't mad at him. I mean, I love my brother. I know that I know that he's got a lot going on. So he and his girlfriend backed out, and so therefore I had this flight that went into Heathrow. And if I wanted to shorten the flight, if I wanted to change the flight, because I got it at such a great rate, it was going to cost me $1,000 more to do anything. So I would have to pay an extra $1,000 to say I want to fly in for just the expo instead of this big block of time. So now it was okay, I'm not going to pay that much money to change that. I don't have that. I want to save it for the trip. I want to save it for sightseeing, hotels, doing these different things. So therefore it was okay, I'm flying into Heathrow. Then it was okay, well, if we're gonna be there for roughly 2 weeks, then why just stay in London? I always talk about how I love Edinburgh. I think it's beautiful. I think it's fantastic. So okay, it's a 4-hour train ride. Plan a trip to Edinburgh. Hence the 4-hour train ride. Trying to maximize the amount of time now because I'm stuck with a flight to Heathrow would be, okay, do I stay in London for a couple days, then take the train up to Edinburgh, then try to find some way to get to Birmingham, to this weird logistics. And how it worked out was, okay, I could take it up to Edinburgh when I land, get that long trip out the way, spend some time there, come back to London, enjoy London for a while, and then go over to Birmingham for UKGE Expo, which is what I did. It was the best of a bad situation, basically. And it turned out to be great. I had a fantastic time, but that's why I spent so much time in travel, because that's how it started. So I could, all things being equal, if it was, okay, I'm going for this amount of time, I would have flew into Edinburgh. I would have taken the train to London and then taken the train to Birmingham and flew out from Birmingham back to the US. So cut out a lot of travel and would have been fine. But that's how, once again, this is one of the things where it's like, this is how it shook out. Am I going to sit there and pout about it, or am I going to have a good time? I decided to have a good time, and I did. I loved the entire trip. I had a blast. I know that Brian and Cynthia are trying to get me to move there now, because the trip felt so short and we had such a great time. They were fantastic to talk to. We went to like a park and we were all just walking around talking. It was just a fantastic time. I enjoyed that trip immensely. And so what's coming up next year I'm going to Essen. So it's time to start planning the trip to Germany. So it'll be, I'm going to Essen. The plan next year so far is Bristol's where she's trying to get me to move to. Yeah. The plan for next year is to go to Essen and go to the one that Fred has been asking me to go to. Is that PAX? Those are my two to go to next year. And then the year after that, I'm going to go to Origins and something else. So I'm doing 2 cons a year and trying to travel. We're coming out of lockdown. So I just want to experience the world and have some fun. You're going to Essen, stay at Amsterdam, and fly from Brussels. We'll have to talk about. I have no idea where. I know it's in Germany. I don't know. I know it's in Essen, Germany. I just want to. I want to get. My thing is, whenever I first go to a con, I want to be close to the con, and I want to be close to the city to enjoy the culture. So, if I'm curious to see how that'll shake out. You're lucky to be able to go to Europe on these trips. I do feel fortunate about that stuff. I don't take that for granted, and I also save like crazy to go on those trips. Like, I'm saving after I got back from UKGE Expo. I immediately started saving for Essen. So my plan is to save up as much as I can from now until time next year to go and enjoy it. I've never been. I don't know what to expect. I want to travel. I want to have a good time and meet so many awesome people in the community who come on this chat to talk, and just have fun. I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that one, Brian. Nope. Nope. That's a trap. That's a trap. Nope. But it was a good time. Yeah, it was a good time. I'd probably say if everyone's able to go, check out UK Games Expo. It's a lot of fun. The community is still there. It's still friendly. It's still fun. It's still welcoming and open and very diverse. It was a very diverse group that was there. I did see a lot of different content creators who are in that area beyond there. I know that I saw one of the I saw them from Shut Up and Sit Down. I forgot her name, but I saw her there. I saw Paul. I saw Sarastro. I saw a lot of different content creators who were just walking about. I didn't interrupt them because they were filming and doing content and building that stuff up. So I just wanted to let them be, and I'm not going to be like, hey, you, take a picture with me. It was just more, if I saw that they were busy, I would just leave them alone and keep moving, because they're there to enjoy the expo just as much as I was. I don't need to be on them. So it was nice to meet them. Cynthia and Brian, you are two amazing, lovely people. I love you both. It was absolutely amazing hanging out with you. I miss y'all. I really do. Like, when I got back, I was like, man, like when we were leaving, I was sad because I didn't feel like I got enough time to spend with y'all too. Like, it was, they are, if y'all have never met them, they are amazing people, and that they were able to work with us and get that stuff going. It's the reason why I'm one of the reasons why I'm part of this hobby, because of wonderful people like them. They were, I did miss them. Like, I was like, there wasn't enough time. It was just 3 days of the expo. We spent all the time together during the 3 days of the expo. We were inseparable. We were just walking around hanging out and talking with Brian about just everything: culture, politics, people's history. Like, just, I love the exchange of ideas and thoughts and learning. So talking with him about that and resins, talking with Cynthia about board gaming, schools, education, how the system works, what's the differences between living in the U.S. and living in the U.K., because she's from the U.S., but living the differences that exist across them, just going on walks, just hanging out, playing board games. We played Gentle Rain, we played Hadrian's Wall, we played so many other games, Fuzzies. And it was just, it was a fun, relaxing time. And I miss y'all dearly, and I'm forever grateful that you spent that time with me. So thank you so much for all of that. For the UK Game Expo groups of people who were there, thank you so much for being so open. There were a lot of there were a lot of people there, but everybody was respectful and friendly. There wasn't any egos that were going on throughout the expo. Now, how people walked drove me crazy, because it was, okay, people are walking on this side, going this way, and this side going, oh, here comes the line shifting and 10 billion people coming all at once. But but other than that, it was just a good fun time. It was mellow, it was chill, it was fun. So thank you so much for UK Game Expo for giving this American a shot at coming over and checking it out and having a good time. Anyway, that's it. I've been talking for God knows how long, but I wanted to give y'all my impressions of UK Game Expo. Sleeper Hit, War of the Worlds. Check that out. See it. Keep your eyes on it. It's gonna be it. I enjoyed playing that. The games I purchased Fuzzies, but when I got back to the US, I got Hadrian's Wall, I got Three Sisters, I got Tricarian coming. So it's 3 games from the Expo. I probably would have bought more, but I didn't have space in my bag to pack them. And thank God this year I'm flying to Gen Con, so I will not have space in my bag to pack more games. So we'll see how it goes. But all right, everybody, that's gonna wrap it up. That's my thoughts and feelings of family, friends, and fun that happened at UK Games Expo. And I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed me, just coming to hang out on a Saturday morning to chat and have a good time. I really enjoy, I always love y'all, and I love chatting with all of you. So what's coming up for me tomorrow, I'm playing Hadrian's Wall. That's going to be on the channel, so I probably might play a little bit of it today. So we'll see how it goes, Cynthia. We probably might be playing a little bit of it today, but we'll see how it goes. Other than that, thank you, everybody. My patrons, my YouTube subscribers, and if you're neither just coming in to hang out, thank you as well for sitting here and listening to this old fart talk for a little while about experiences at UK Game Expo and just the beautiful community that surrounds the hobby that I love so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Martin, make sure to chat with me for a little bit. I want to talk to you about kind of these different games to see where it gels, to see if I can find another one that's like that. But I will see you all later. Just know I love you all, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. See y'all later. Bye-bye.